This is a production of Darn TV.
Only hiding up here in Sasquatch country, northwest North Dakota, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Dirt Weekly.
Hello.
4 wide again.
4 wide, just like we were at the Nodak Speedway several times.
Drag race 4 wide.
This last weekend.
North Carolina. We tell it the way it is, 4 wide. The worldwide headquarters.
Dirt Weekly is live and on the air. Look at that, 7 o'clock, 7:15-ish on a Wednesday night.
All things considered, that's on time.
You're right. Pretty close.
But normally,
it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. We're in the same
not the right day.
Smalls Medler, Justin Medler, Craig Heupel, Jordan Boyce, myself, Brandon Beater. Had a good weekend. Had a fun weekend. Should we roll down the rundown here real quick, probably? SIBO Motorsports Rundown, specializing in high-performance parts, chassis repair. Call Ryan at 701-720-3889. Today, he's already fixed Max's car this week, and
I was
he's
just going to
working
say,
on
has anybody
Jerns.
checked in on Ryan? Obviously you did.
I believe he's got Nate Jerns over there right now.
Yep.
He already got Max's in and fixed her up.
In and out of the hospital already?
Yep.
And the slick on Saturday night was not clay. That was ice.
Yeah, it was cold.
It was,
Yeah.
I think, the coldest.
It was like a Beatrice Spring show.
I mentioned to Smalls, sometimes the worst weather brings out the best racing, and Saturday night was...
Some of the best racing.
Why it was so cold nobody could think. They just had to drive.
Too numb to hold their pistols.
Right. There you go. Right there. Their jeans were tight fitting. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Like you say, weather-wise, 2 different days.
Yeah, and the weekend got started Friday night in Mandan with
Yeah.
beautiful weather down in Mandan.
Perfect weather.
Perfect racing weather down there in Mandan.
Looked like June.
Yes.
Yeah, without the
Yep.
bugs. It was
Right.
even better than June. So.
Yep. A few of us from up north came down. Yourself was with the Grinsteads.
Yeah. They invited me in Tyson's spot there, so I was able to hop in with them. Adam come down. Raceland come down. Travis Hagen was there.
Nice little group we had out there in the grass by the soccer field.
Yeah.
That's
We were in what I understand is the overflow lot, because for me it was a first. I was not in the center.
You're normally down in the middle.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought I was in Nebraska.
You went without the green machine?
Yeah.
Is that a first?
Saving up the maiden voyage for this weekend of the year.
Is that a first?
Everybody's holding their breath, mainly me. I would say, yeah. As I shared with Grinsteads, my car's been in here before, just not when you owned it.
Because you rode with Wayne.
Because Wayne is taking me to Iowa.
Yeah.
So it has been in there, but again, the overflow parking lot, I understand. I mean, we were outside the fence. We were in the soccer field was across the street, so those that know, but I didn't know.
We were in the parking lot. So you were out where we park every Oktoberfest. That's
where the party is? That's the Oktoberfest party
If
grounds?
you want steak sandwiches and sausages and all kinds of good food, that's where you got to park out there with us.
That's Sturgis.
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it Sturgis.
Sturgis, Mandan, North Dakota. Okay. Again, you're right. I hadn't been there before. So, but again, kudos to Chris and Brenner and Tyson, everybody bringing us down. We shared that these side windows got a little tight and all that. So with that said, Brenner had to load and unload my car. If you know, you know.
Oh, I know.
So, but other than that, I was able to, get in and out. But so it was a textbook Mandan track. It was dry. It was technical. It was when you're off a 10th, you just sit there and wiener your way back to Never Land, if you will, because it's just really hard to make it up with, say, a bounce it off the cushion deal or. Try to find something underneath, some moisture somewhere, because it just doesn't exist. With that said, I'm certainly not bastardizing it. It's just a fresh reminder that it is what it is. It's technical. It's a different mindset than we carry up here. Sometimes you need to go there for a little humble pie and or to work on your setup.
Last year they didn't get a race until almost June, and here they had a perfect night, Friday night in April.
I'll reflect on that, Craig. I thought of that because I thought, who's going to be who's getting the bear in the pit game this year, because it seems like some track always carries that weather card hard and heavy, and they certainly did last year. Like you say, it was practically Memorial Weekend before they were able to go. So good for them to get going. I thought the excitement was typical Mandan excitement. The car count was certainly reasonable.
48 legends.
48
Actually,
legends.
insane. When I'm not counting them. I'm counting what I would call our IMCA classes, not to discredit the legends because they were awesome. But, again, thought that some of the East stuff was able to come over and race, some of the North stuff come down. And I thought all in all it was a nice little get-together. Those of you that went to Oktoberfest, I think it was probably just a continuation of that.
Yep.
Similar faces, similar weather, and similar tracks. So, yeah. I need to work on my chassis. It's Wednesday.
We'll roll through these. We'll roll through these pretty quick here. Hobby stocks. They're Dacotah Speedway hobby stocks. They're not IMCA hobby stocks. Derek Appert wins the hobby stock feature. I didn't get to watch much of it. I was kind of focusing on our classes a whole bunch.
Where we park, you can't watch nothing.
No,
Unless you got a 30-foot tall something, okay?
Brandon, Jordan and I were Camaro lovers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shouldn't,
Yellow to be exact.
agreed, but shouldn't a Camaro win every time? I mean, don't they have the better setup? Shouldn't it just be like a major advantage?
I believe it's a weight deal. Them Camaros, they're able to go out there and you can build a Camaro, but you got to hang so much lead on them or whatever, it kind of bogs them down a little bit. It's like us, like the IMCA hobby stocks can actually go down and race with their hobbies, but you got to add so much lead because you got to meet their 3,600-pound weight rule. It's not even feasible because you take Max's car, we're adding 700 pounds of lead. What do you do? What do you do to a car when you add 700 pounds of lead?
You want more carburetor. 2 of them. So, yeah. Craig, great question because, for the most part, Camaros have just been outlawed everywhere, yet they entertain them at at their hobby stock level. But like Brandon says, I think there's some different engine rules and some different weights and stuff like that. But all said and done, I wasn't able to see them when we were there just lately here, but last week, but I have seen them before, and I find them to be pretty racy. I mean, some guys are racing 2 classes, an IMCA class and that class. I know Jeremy Englehart is, and they look like they're enjoying themselves. And Craig, you're right. I mean, as Camaro guys, that's a flashback to high school.
They look flat out cool. It looks like the Jack McDonald, Bob Simmers car out there, and I'm like, why aren't you running up front?
That is one benefit
exactly
of having
right.
a Dacotah Speedway hobby like what they have, and you see it in Devil's Lake when they have their home track rule hobbies or pure stocks. You get a variety. You're seeing a Camaro, you see a Monte Carlo, you see a Nova, you see a big Grand Prix, an early 70s Grand Prix.
The Dodge stuff.
Yeah,
Johnny Jr.'s really
John
got something
Jr.'s
in there.
Dodge.
Got
You see
Superbird in there.
everything.
So
when you roll into an IMCA hobby stock track, you're seeing cookie cutter bodies.
yeah, square Monte Carlos.
Yep.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Square G bodies.
Yeah, because they can't even put on the round stuff or aftermarket anything. So, that's a great that we like to educate on this, and that's a nice touch there to check in on what those are, because again, I think they get around pretty good, and I guess now that you've said it out loud, I would wonder the same, because in the Jack McDonald days, you had a Camaro or you got beat by a Camaro, and the fact that they don't dominate this tells me that they are, they're strapped down by some governing rules. So.
I think traditionally that's what all late models were
At the
in
beginning.
the early 80s.
Yeah. At least that front clip and even the body was usually the body of choice. So
right
before we got all wedged up and crazy. So, the golden days.
Yeah, like you said, 48 legends.
4 heats of 12.
What? That's crazy. Preston Martin
Right up
picks up
Justin's Avenue.
picks up the feature win there.
I see you went plus 10, so, I mean, again, for them, they always have a 2-lane track because the 1 lane in the big car is a 2-lane in their car.
Yes.
And
for the first time in a long time, I
around.
did take in some of the Legend races, and for the first time that I've seen in a long time, Legends were racing up off the bottom, which was encouraging.
Well, I think Preston Martin always lives on the top. He's always grinding up there.
On an outer lane.
Slingshots, Junior Slingshots, their maiden voyage. They debuted this year. They brought in the Slingshots and compacts left. Landon Hulgren picks up the win. They had 11 Slingshots there, which is a pretty good show.
I thought it was a decent number for a first time out. School's still in session.
Yeah, 11, yep.
Thought it was decent.
IMCA stock cars, Andrew Jokum picked up the win coming over from Fargo area.
Yeah. I although I was in the race, I didn't see the best part of the race. I just saw the race around me, which meant the leaders were watching my group.
It was entertaining.
Let's
out
run out
front.
of laps. We don't want to mess with those guys.
Sean Volk, the S8, was able to get out front right away, and he chose to run the top pretty much the whole race. And then on the bottom came Andrew Jokum, and then Brock was even battling on the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that 48, and I was like, huh.
Yeah. The Brockster was paying attention.
Then about the time
right.
Brock passed Andrew Jokum, Jokum moves up behind Sean Volk, and they both leave Brock. Because Brock didn't make the change up to the top side. And then Jokum caught Volk and was able to pass him, and that was the end of it.
By the time he caught Sean, he had exercised both lanes of the track.
Yep.
Was able to make a mental presentation and get it done.
And then in the IMCA Modifieds, it was just a prelude to what we've seen all weekend. Jason Walla picking up the feature win. He started on the front row, drove away, but starting 12th and was a hard charger was Travis Hagen. He had to work his way all 25 caution-free laps, and he got third with Quentin Kisley in second.
Yeah, I was unable to see any of that because it was right after our feature, and we were busy loading and getting ready right away. So, and like I say, you're half a mile away from the track, but yeah, you're right. It was a prelude to how the weekend was going to unfold, and long cold North Dakota winters. You wouldn't know it at the racetrack.
Right.
First weekend out, everybody's
on it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that Quentin Kinsley, he is the quietest great driver, I think. I mean, he is
and relatively new.
Our Motor Magic champ, and now he comes up with a second right out of the box. I mean, he's
we know he's a performer down there, and like
right.
you say, kind of his out of placeness was maybe the Motor Magic because he hadn't been here before and was able to take the title. But I don't know what color he was this year, but he was green, white, and black last year, and that's okay with me. So,
yeah, he doesn't leave man down too much. So
right,
and sometimes some of those cars struggle outside of that presentation.
Right,
it is
right.
unique, and as I say, you need a car for that. You shouldn't share the same car there and everywhere else. So,
moving forward, Saturday night at the Playground of Power, the Nodak Speedway, we got to debut our season, and track was dynamite all night Saturday night as far as from the first drop of the heat race all the way through the end. Good wide racing. Chris Yost, the first feature of the night, or first feature of 2025 was the Sport Compacts. Chris Yost able to pick up that one. Hugh Banks, maybe the other contender. He had troubles. He broke a front something or another.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like a right rear. I would call it an upper control arm, but I don't know if they have them in the right rear. But the NASCAR guys do because it was all flopped over like a broken right front upper control arm.
I seen it on the ramp over. And
so did I.
That's my guy. What are you doing here? This ain't good.
He got camera going all the wrong way.
Right.
So.
Next feature up was the IMCA Sport Mods. Robbie Roselli picking up the feature win. Right out of the gate, 25 sport mods. I think that's kind of been a bigger class for quite a while.
Right.
And it kind of held the card with the highest car count in that division.
Robbie, I think, went bell to bell on that, didn't he?
Bell to bell.
I mean, he was strong.
Yeah, there was some restarts in there, wasn't there?
A couple of them.
Yeah. He led everything, like you say, but and that's hard to do. I mean, I was gifted with a pole Saturday night also, and they went by on the left and the right. So, come on, guys. Give me something to chew on here. So, but, good job on Robbie. So, we weren't quite sure where Robbie was at in the world, and a surprise to us, and probably even himself, he jumped out and got a win right away. He was able to follow it up with the top 5.
Caden Appelt picking up the IMCA Hobby Stock win. He started pretty deep in the pack. I believe he went up plus 8.
But he looked like he was shot out of a gun.
He made quick work of it.
He was just, wow.
Them being right before us, I didn't have the privilege to watch that. I did see one modified feature.
Cool to see the Canadians still come up and join us, or come down and join us.
A lot of them.
IMCA stock car, Brock Beater, your driver, picked up the win. Some inside information you got from him there.
Hey, how do you know about that?
I know because
that was on the down low.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to tell us now?
Once the draft was over, I got the full information from old little brother.
Now, before the draft was done, we were told, "Don't pick me. I can't race
You
all
got
year."
it. You got it too,
oh,
right?
yeah. So I'm like, well, okay. You're the right color, but you're telling me.
So there
I'm
was some
out.
grocery store talk.
Apparently.
Jeez.
Yeah. I don't
But
know what
even
they call it in politics.
But even if you had the information, who'd have thought he'd run as strong? I mean,
Yeah. Well, if we're going to get into that, I would attest to the fact that he stayed in the infield and was watching the hobby stock feature because I understand that they were running high. Again, Kyle Shope and I were on the front row, and we were gonna duel each other out in the low to middle lane, and here comes Brock at about a 40-mile-an-hour clip going by. I'm like, Kyle, it's been fun, but not that much fun, and I jumped up with him. So, oh man, so Brock did a great job, and my crew chief done a pretty good job getting that thing set up together.
Yeah.
I know they're working together, but my crew chief Adam is.
Yeah, Brock, I don't think Brock did any setup work to his car at all. Adam came
he's
to
got
the
the
shop.
same crew chief.
Adam, Adam came and did all the setup stuff at the shop. The only thing they had to adjust maybe was some ride height stuff to make the rules or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
well, talk about Brock a little bit. Hobby guy. He's done sport mods. He's done A mods last year. Now he's in stock cars, so nothing is going to be unfamiliar to him.
Yeah. To reflect on that, I'm going to say that it just every time you see a performance like this, you're seeing that Brock is a pretty rounded driver. I mean, he can jump in anything and do pretty good in it. I thought he did a fantastic job.
Well,
in
he'd be the
A-Mod
only
last
one
year.
in competition with me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
If he gets the A-Mod deal,
Right.
he'd be the one to
Yeah,
have
he's won
him.
in every
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
I need a stock car.
and he needs an A-Mod.
Best all-around rodeo.
Right.
Rodeo guys. Yeah. So, yeah.
So I might have to drive the 48 this week, and he might drive the 75M.
Wait a minute. Hey.
Don't worry,
Are
Craig.
pits-
He's already got a
Are
48 in
pits
his garage.
binding?
Brock hasn't got approval to leave mine out anymore.
IMC Modifieds was Travis Hagen picking up the win. Must have a bad connection or something. We keep losing our camera.
Lights are too bright.
Well, not Saturday night. Are we still on Saturday?
Yep.
Saturday night. Travis
Yeah.
Hagen picked up the win
Okay.
Saturday.
Yeah, he got
Bad
Walla
ball
at
race
the
in
end there.
Walla got out front, and Travis did Travis things. When he follows a driver like that, and he kind of yo-yoed with him. He was up to him, tried to make a slider, got crossed over, fell back, went all the way back up again, and in lap traffic, I think, is where he made his move.
I was able to watch that there, and once like you say, your term yo-yoing back and forth, and that's what he does. He's analyzing at speed. But when you give him a yellow, you're in trouble because now he gets to slow down and really figure out what his marks are. At least that's how I see him return when the green is back on, and he's got his plan, and then he's got two alternatives that are just as good. And man, you're just about stuck in the spider's web at that point. It's just a matter of him coming to get you. So, but again, what a race, and racing and throughout the field too. I mean, there was skirmishes at the front and in the middle too. So again, the North Dakota winters are long and cold and forever, but you wouldn't know it. I mean, people really picked up and were going. They had presentation, they had setup, and they were juking. They had the moves.
If I could go back to another Hagen in the stock car race, Mike came out of the gate just showing he ain't lost a step. And Brock, I think 2 to go in that stock car race.
And
a yellow comes out.
Yeah.
And when you got the 27 behind you with 2 to go, you're like, all right, this is serious. And Mike going into 3 mid
Was there.
He drove up on Brock and said, I'm here. Are you going to get scared? Are you going to lift? Are you going to go over? He gave him everything without touching.
It was a startling.
It was brilliant. And Brock, was up to the challenge.
It was a Mike Hagen move.
Right.
It was
Mike crowded right up there, and he should. I mean, it was a restart. There was a lot of stuff going on throughout the field there. And at the same time, I thought he gentlemaned him too. There was no touching. Got up there and startled him. I think Brock did do a little left, right, just getting ready for contact possibly, but it didn't happen, and it ended accordingly. Again, back to our pre-pick day, I'd communicated with Travis, and of course he was sharing that they got a child coming and stuff like that. And I asked, well, where's Mike at? And he said, I think Mike's still got some work to do. So Mike was a little bit off my radar, but boy, after the weekend, Mike, whoever got Mike got a good pick. So
got him.
Smallsy got him. Yeah, 77 for the weekend. So yeah, exactly.
He was kind of your
Strong
bell cow for the
Yeah,
weekend.
he was the man.
And I feel bad for any motor that's in a Mad Mike Hagan car. It's breathing heavy at the end of the night.
Yeah. They're made to be worked hard, and sometimes they are.
He's whipping that thing as hard as it'll go.
Again, just knowing it was cold and cool and overcast out. As a driver, I would have never guessed that would have went what I'll call a dry slick type setup. It wasn't dry slick. It certainly wasn't dusty, but at the same time, the right rear wheel was no longer pulled out after the heat. It was pulled back in. And if you know, you're chasing adhesion at least on a lower line. And the adjustments I thought it was making was right. Freed it up a little bit come the next day. So, but yeah, again, what your eyes saw wasn't necessarily what you raced on, and that's the best track prep presentation you can have. When the drivers know, you lose the race. When they don't know, that's when you get the race because they're everywhere.
Yeah,
trying to find it.
And Ken, what everybody told me is 1 and 2, lay it in there and just
hammer down.
Give it hell.
Mid on up. I mean, it was wet.
3 and 4.
Where is it?
Figure it out.
Is it low?
Right.
Is it high? I mean, Brock was able to do it up high. I kind of just gave up and kind of shivered through the middle, if you will. And I thought my shivering was decent enough to at least maintain position. So it was dry. I mean, it was what I would call slickish on one end and 2-foot wheelies on the other. So
right.
You don't set up for that. As Mike would say, sometimes you just got to shut up and drive. So I was doing the Mike deal in my head. Hey, buddy, you just got to drive this thing. It doesn't matter what you got or what you thought. So do something. Turn left.
As we move into night number 2, Sunday night, we'll start with the compacts. Then we're going to call our first driver guest. So the compacts, Zach Eubanks, made up for the night before, put his car back together, did Smallsy proud in fantasy.
I had a chat with him.
Get back here and do well or else.
Right.
He comes out. He dominates. I think he runs wire to wire. Leads wire to wire on that. Chris Yost got up to second, I think. Yep.
And I think Landon Michelson, hopping in that car, painting her up, and ready to roll.
That car looked really good.
That's the 47 car?
Yep, from last year.
Yeah. I think he got a third one of the nights.
I think it was Saturday night.
First night, okay. But again, wow.
There would have been some inside info if you'd have picked him, because I don't think anybody would have figured out that he was going to run up front all weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Being new to the class or new to racing.
We thought we did our homework, and yet here we are. What happened? So, not everywhere, but a little where. So
with that, we're going to give the Sport Mod feature winner, because that would have been the second feature of the night. We're going to give Taylor Stenvold a call because it was his first ever IMCA career win. Ever. So the Dirt Weekly hotline is open.
Yeah.
Do you have the number blocked then?
Does he?
No.
You.
Oh, no. It's
so now the number's out.
The number's going to be out.
Hello?
Hey. Taylor Stenvold, the Dirt Weekly here. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Pretty
good.
good.
Yeah.
Got Jorn Boyce, Justin Medler, and Craig Heupel all sitting here with me.
Oh, good deal.
The whole gang is here. We're 4 wide. We just wanted to talk to you about Sunday night. Some of these guys maybe have some questions for you.
Okay, we'll shoot away.
Well, I thought you did an awesome job there, Taylor, and there's nothing more exciting than putting together a Nodak feature win, and for you to be your first ever win, I mean, that's a double gold ticket there. So did you get nervous and jerky at the end? I mean, that's when it starts to count, and that's when it's easy to make a mistake. How are you feeling?
Oh, we're feeling good. I definitely, that white flag came out and going into corner 3 and 4. We went in a little too hot there at the end and kind of scared for a little bit, but we got back to the bottom and we're all right. But
you learned to hold your breath for about a minute and a half at the end there. So heart
That
stopped
yellow
6
flag
times,
could've
and
stayed out.
that was pretty awesome. So
Taylor, Thank you for my A-main win. I appreciate that. And what's most impressive also is you brought an old 132 in tow in second, so that was a nice 1-2 punch.
The punch, yeah.
Yeah, I heard I got you some fantasy points.
Thank you, absolutely.
Way too many.
Too many.
I'm loving the paint scheme on your car this year. The black, looking strong. It's a beauty.
It's the first year I've ever done black.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
what
you know what they say. You're stuck with it now.
So, Taylor, when you looked up at the lap board going by, or maybe you didn't even look at the lap board, you seen one at 32 behind you. Did you have any comfort in that, or were you a little more concerned that maybe Uncle was going to take it away?
I tried not to look at the lap board as much as I could, but the caution plate kept coming out, so I didn't have no choice after that. But I knew he wasn't going to give it to me. I was just hoping that I heard over. You know, I think there's 2 or 3 laps to go, and the caution came back out. And they went over the race. They were doing the lineups, and they said 21, 132, 21. I'm like, oh boy, I can't mess up.
So you say he wasn't going to give it to you, but were you going to give it to him when he was on the inside of you? What were you thinking there?
I didn't even see him on the inside, to be honest with you. I just
that's
tried
perfect.
to keep looking straight and doing what I was doing, just keep going.
I'm glad it worked out the way it did. I would have hated to see you guys take each other out.
Yeah. Do a little door banging for the win.
Well, it was sure fun watching it. I got to say that it was fun to do the call on that one. I like when I get to do like important race calls like that one. That means first time ever. I had to do some quick research up there on my race pass. I was on my phone going year by year trying to find if you won or not.
So how many years have you been racing?
I've been in sport mod. This will be 5, and then I did stock car for 2 years. I believe.
So
I was gonna say my race pass.
right.
I think goes all the way back to 2017 or 18.
Yeah, so
'Cause
it
I
just
know
shows that it's not that easy.
My first Nodak win came in my 5th season of racing, so fine wine takes time. You're tasting good.
Mine, it's always tough to win at. You know, it's always tough competitors there. It's always good track, and I never thought mine it would be my first one, but I'll take it.
You bet.
A different car this year, right? Picked up a Razor chassis.
Car. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Is there some help from Gabe? Because Gabe's pretty successful in the Razor chassis.
Yeah, he's definitely the guy to beat for sure. He's helped me for sure. Him and Travis have. It's just from chassis to chassis. That was the one question I had. Is it really that different? And I mean, it for sure is. So it's taken some learning. I would have never thought second time in the car I'd get it done, but I mean, I'm happy with it for sure.
Well, that's good support, Travis, Gabe, Chad, and I imagine your dad. You know, you got good support, and that's key.
Yeah, right. Travis Roth, I mean, is the Razor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when those guys are talking, I want to be listening, not talking. So you bet, and you listen. So
open your ears up.
Well, we appreciate you joining the Dirt Weekly. This is a new call feature that we're going to try to bring out every week. I don't know. What do you think about it, Taylor?
I think it's pretty cool. This is my first time on the Dirt Weekly. Even.
Right.
And the year is young. You might be back.
You might be back.
Just post a number on Facebook and drive Brandon nuts.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, just kidding.
I'll do this number and his personal cell phone.
Stop it.
So this is the chance where you can critique Justin's work on the track.
I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
That's because you won.
Hey, even last year. I mean, they had it going pretty good last year, and they built from that into this year. I mean, it's smooth, it's racy. I mean, they're not doing track prep like crazy like they used to. It's kind of like they can do one good session, and it makes us through the night. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
I think that's a positive comment because being able to make it to halftime has always been the goal, and it hasn't always been what happens. So, yeah.
And it's I mean, we'll take it. We work hard at it.
For sure.
Sunday, was it up to my pars? You know, I thought it was a dump. You know, I mean, I didn't like Sunday. I thought it was for how
Trying to
much
move to
work
the
we put
bottom.
into it, it wasn't what it should have been. But
Yeah.
Tom and I, right away Monday morning, we were hashing it out, trying to figure out what happened, and I think we, kind of come up with some ideas. But the racing wasn't terrible either Sunday. But
No.
just when you start having consistently good tracks where it's 3-4 wide or whatever, and good
Yeah.
racing, it's it's hard to stay up on that level.
For sure. I mean, and even the effort you and Tom put into it. You go there on a Monday, and you're there damn near every week or every day throughout the week. I mean, you guys are going to get it figured out eventually for sure.
Right.
He wants to move this Dirt Weekly down there so he can just get out of the tractor, come over and do the Dirt Weekly, and then go back in the tractor.
Why it's filling up.
You're right.
One thing I think Nodak does better than most is their Victory Lane presentation and the pictures of your family that's on Facebook.
Right.
That picture,
Yeah,
that's a
cool.
Christmas card right there. I shared it
is.
with you guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's nice to get
cool.
everybody important in your world.
But
in there for a
y-
picture.
you want to talk about family? Look at Craig's team; it's all family.
That's what my wife said. She said, "Do you realize what you've done?"
Right. So
It's okay. Well, thanks for answering the phone. We sure appreciate it. We enjoyed having you on here, and hope you have more success later in the year here.
I certainly hope you do.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll get a call within a couple weeks or something.
Yeah, maybe again. Keep knocking off them wins, and we'll call you again.
There you go.
Okay, thank you, Taylor.
That's awesome.
All right,
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. We'll see ya.
Now that was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
See, with anything, you got to keep growing, keep changing, and doing new things.
Yeah.
That's why I brought the popcorn from Marketplace for you guys to try.
where did it go?
Yeah.
Two of my biggest fans are the Philsvold brothers.
Oh.
They're popcorn connoisseurs.
Roger and Randy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you gonna do a little sample of this?
What do you
the
think?
Oreo.
What do you think?
Right.
We're going to move on to caller number 2 here first,
gotcha.
can we?
We can't be talking about the new sponsors on the show already. That's the second half.
Wow, just trying to keep order here.
Oh,
Trying to keep
oh.
going. Honestly,
After 2 nights
hold
at
it.
Nodak, now Brandon's got an order.
Gourmet eating seems to be the theme of this season. I'll
Yeah.
leave it there for the moment.
Smalls put me up in the booth, and I'm trying to stay on his timeline, and he has beat the timeline into my head so much that it's now trickling into the Dirt Weekly.
It ain't trickling into me.
Just like Brandon says, I don't even have time to read the lineup. I said, that ain't my problem. We're racing. That's your problem.
I did say it.
Right.
And if you go back and watch, we had to hustle,
Yeah.
which it's okay.
He's earning his pay like I do on the Dirt Weekly.
I think we'd be remiss.
all of it.
I know you got a call to take, but you got to talk about Christy, your debut on the mic.
Yep.
That's on the second half of the show.
Sorry.
Is that the second half of the show?
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll make it.
Gotcha.
We'll get there. We'll
Yeah.
get there.
Wow. What
I-
class am I
Focus.
in? What class am I in? When's my race?
Well,
We had some of that.
I'll just wait.
if you win, how are we going to call you on the show?
Oh. Well,
you're already here.
Let's get there first.
Yep.
Oof.
Go to the bathroom.
Yeah. If I win, we ain't having a show. I'll be partying. Been a while.
3 days later.
Yeah.
Live from bootleggers.
Hey, you guys both showed some speed. I was very impressed.
I got a new crew chief. They know what they're doing.
Can they fix the nut behind the wheel, though?
I think we're close.
Close to the... Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
So,
I just want.
That's impressive.
I want to keep them
Loose
focused.
nut behind the wheel. Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe some more of that popcorn.
keep them focused on you and not on me and who has them in the stock car? Jordan and I.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jordan, I was very disappointed to see you.
See, here I'm starting to think I should have picked him for both, but I couldn't because you jumped on it. But I should have picked them and then myself. That would have been.
Yeah.
That'd be keeping your chicks in line.
Well, you had
chicks in a
3 of
box.
them.
That's a bold move, picking yourself. That's like,
Yeah, but if you would have seen what was going on in the Smalls Racing headquarters 2 weeks prior, you're kind of thinking, it might be back.
Yeah.
I kind of felt it.
Well,
I mean, I didn't win shit, but I was there.
It looked good.
Yeah.
It looked good.
It looked like Pfeiffer and I could probably start a feud again. So
In regards to that,
the second half of the show,
yeah.
we gotta get through caller number 2 because number 3 might be Tukshire and then number 4 might be Pfeiffer.
for your first heat,
We got a phone now.
your first heat, it looked like you got into somebody.
Wait, let's just hold on because we got a story here. We got a story to tell. Because I was getting
Oh, boy.
and it wasn't me. So let's do caller number 2. They have to go to bed.
Caller number 2, you're on there.
On night number 2,
So everybody watching, stay for the second half.
IMCA Hobby Stocks. We seen a new winner at the Nodak Speedway. Not his first IMCA win, but he made the trip all the way from Baker, Montana, and I just wanted to recognize him and get him on the show.
That's a long
trip. So Taylor Heaton picking up his first IMCA Hobby Stock win at the Nodak Speedway. We'll give him a call here. Back-to-back phone calls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a ways away on a Sunday night.
I wonder if it says potential spam on the other side.
Hello?
Taylor Heaton, Brandon, Dirt Weekly here. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Hey.
Pretty good. I got Jordan Boyce, Justin Medler, and Craig Heupel with me here. We're 4 wide. Just going to visit with you a little bit about your win on Sunday night.
Okay.
Don't sound too excited.
Were you expecting this call?
Right.
I gave him a heads up.
Yeah.
Do you even know what the Dirt Weekly is?
Oh, yeah. I watch you guys all the time.
Were you watching
that's
before
4.
this?
Yeah. I was watching it as soon as the call came in. So.
Oh, look at that. So you're prepared for this.
Yeah.
Notes in front of you. Uh-huh.
Well, I'm going to go first because you and your dad were pretty stressed about trying to get some laps in and this and that because you guys had problems practice day, new car, motor was laying down. I would say it turned out pretty all right this weekend, huh?
Yeah, we came up for practice and kind of messed up a motor pretty good. So we kind of rushed and got a new one in and was hoping to get some laps on, but it worked out for the best, I guess.
So going into that first heat race Saturday night, were you kind of nervous because long ways to drive and if stuff doesn't go right, then what?
Yeah, that's the thing about it. But, I mean, you almost got to just pray and hopefully everything works out.
So you're the modern day Smoking Hank driving all that way.
Right.
Yeah,
Great comparison.
It's about 5 hours or so up there, but
So do you guys
Even farther?
I mean, this is off the racing. Did you guys drive all the way home Sunday night after the races?
yeah, and I worked Monday morning. So.
Ooh.
And you worked all day?
I came in a little later, but
You had to get her done. Well, it's easier to drive home when you got to win, and congratulations on that. So, a 5-hour deal probably turned into what felt like a 2-hour deal, just of all the excitement and joy that comes with it. So,
for sure, it was good to win up there. I mean, that's a tough place to win in any class, but you know, that was kind of my goal this year coming into it. Is I want to get a win in Minot, and to get it on the second night was pretty exciting. But
that's pretty neat. Been able to see you race, on Williston and even some Dickinson stuff. Past year and stuff like that. You're certainly focused and prepared, and constantly trying to learn the race car way, if you will. So again, big congratulations from me on your win. They don't come easy, and even though sometimes they almost seem like an accident, they never are in comparison, because sometimes you work hard and you can't get nothing done. So again, big congratulations from me, and I appreciate you making the long haul. So I hope it's enough motivation to keep you coming all year.
Back to Saturday night when Caden got his big run, and of course he won Saturday night. You ran right up on him where I thought he was checking out and was going to be gone, and you were right there with him.
Had some gap control. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I had some issues with the car. I had a caliper bolt come off the rear end, and just brakes got a little weird towards the end of the race, but lost the position on second to last lap. But It worked out.
You corrected that for Sunday. On Sunday, you started 8th. You were on the outside. And as you were working forward, you were one of the first ones to try that bottom, to get down into the nice grippy stuff down on the bottom, and you were able to use that and propel your way all the way to the front. What made you go down there? Because it was maybe a little bit too wet at the beginning, but what told you that you could go down there?
Well, I tried it in 1 and 2. That was kind of the only lane open, and I had a drive coming off of 2, and I hit it once, and then I was stuck down there, and I hit it in 3 and 4, and it seemed to work, and I just figured I was going to stick with it and see how it went. And, a couple laps later I passed Max on the bottom coming out of 4, and then it worked really good, and I figured I'd just stay with it.
There was a wet spot down there in the bottom of 1 and 2, right in the middle, down in that lower groove. Did you ever hit that and go for a slip trip, or did you even notice it's there?
Are you talking that there was some antifreeze I saw there, and I was trying to miss it a little bit, but my left rear was definitely, I was hitting it a couple laps, but it seemed to stay good. So
yeah, it looked like you were able to straddle it. You were doing a good job straddling it, but sometimes you hit that and it'll just send the car crazy.
All the way sideways.
I think there was enough moisture in the track that night that I think it kind of soaked in a little bit almost, compared to you get that antifreeze on a dry slick track. It's pure ice, but
yeah. So what's your plan for the rest of the year? Are you going to make the trip to Nodak every night?
That was my next question. You're leading points.
That's exactly what I thought.
I saw that and I go, well, I guess I'm not sure what I should do, and I don't think
you might as well give it one more night.
Sunday night.
One more night. If it's a DNF, well, that answers. If you win again, well, there's your answer. You're going to be pretty sleepy Monday.
That's how I worked Pfeiffer over last year.
Right.
Taylor, where do you race in Montana? Or what do you consider your home track?
Well, I'd consider Dickinson my home track. There's no IMCA hobbies in anywhere in Montana, so the closest track to me is Dickinson.
And how far is that?
120 miles, I think.
Oof. Oof.
Call it your home track.
What does a family, because you and your dad are big into racing, and your sister has an INEX Legend. What makes a family in Baker, Montana want to get involved in IMCA hobby stock racing?
That question came right out of my head. That's exactly
right.
Great question.
So we were doing some off-road stuff in Montana with, metric cars, and it's called Bump and Run over here, and we were doing that for a few years, and it was kind of dying out, and, the rules weren't the greatest on being strict on them and everything, and, we were looking at Dickinson for circle track and kind of came across IMCA hobbies and decided to do that.
So does the talk ever come up, like, we see it all the time now, so many people leaving California, moving to Iowa to race. Does the talk ever come up, maybe moving Williston somewhere so you can race more? Or are you guys stuck where you at?
I mean, I really enjoy Montana for, I'm a big hunter and everything, and getting deer tags and stuff over the counter all the time is pretty nice. When I was a kid, I used to live in Dickinson there, so, but I kind of enjoy Montana for some of the other stuff.
So Dickinson, you're hitting every night. That's the plan?
No, I don't think that's going to happen. We'll be up for, Memorial Day weekend, and
you're going when it's a doubleheader, more or less.
Yeah, doubleheader, and 4th of July we're planning on hitting Underwood and Minot, and then going to Dickinson for 3 nights. And
how about taking a week off and doing the Tougher Than Dirt tour?
We're planning on it.
Nice. Yeah.
I'll definitely hit the first couple nights and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we start in Underwood and then we go down to Dickinson. That gets you closer to home, and then you can probably decide from there. Or when you leave Williston, if you're high up in the points, huh?
Yeah, I'll definitely hit that Underwood, Dickinson, Williston, and then go from there. But
Well, if you make that much of an effort, you might as well do the whole thing.
yeah,
See where the fun meter's
work
at.
gets in the way for some of that stuff too, though.
It does.
I agree. Work gets in the way of a lot of fun.
Yeah, you'll be a great contender on the Tougher Than Dirt, so you'll fit right in. So,
Well, we just wanted to call and congratulate you on your win. That's a huge deal, and we thank you for answering the phone, even though it looked as spam call probably,
Right.
as Small said.
Yeah, and thanks for coming too. We like to support.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully me traveling up there would get some cars to Dickinson and Williston this year. So.
Right.
Yep,
for sure.
That's always the goal. I mean, I agree with you there. If you travel somewhere, hopefully you get some of them guys. Well, if he came to us, let's go to him.
Right.
Yeah,
You know.
and that does happen. So, good thinking. So,
Yeah.
Congrats again.
Yeah, congrats
All right.
again. Best of luck the rest of the year. Hopefully you can put it in victory lane some more.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, thank you, Taylor.
Okay. Yeah. Nice interview.
2 phone calls.
Yeah.
That work thing's it's just in the way.
Yeah.
Can he come to work at Marketplace and you just give him race schedule?
100%.
If he puts it in 2 weeks early, it ain't a problem, right?
Yeah. Here's some tater salad out the door.
I got a little popcorn if you come back.
Food's a good motivator.
The next
So,
feature. Well, go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna keep calling?
No, I'm not calling any more people. We're done with the phone calls.
Yeah.
Done with the phone calls. That was the driver chat part of this.
Okay.
I was just going to finish
the
out the
numbers
results.
online.
Well, we just called 2
Did
Taylors.
somebody put it online?
No.
Should we call your bride and see what she thinks about your racing weekend?
No. If you want to know the truth, call Kendra. She will tell you.
I seen her watching with Grandma up on the perch there.
Oh, yeah. After the first heat race, I started last, and I finished third. She's right up to the window. Dad, you didn't get last. I said, I know. I could count them in front of me. Dad, I thought since you started last, you'd finish her. I said, I'm not that bad.
I was in the
Well,
pits.
you are. I'm like, thanks.
I saw who truly runs the show. You had your jack on the dirt, right? And you're like, leave it there. It's fine. And she says, what if it rains? Pick that up.
Wow. We all like to think we run the show.
Amen.
Right.
Little feistiness there.
Yeah.
Wonder where she got it.
Right.
Must have been Taylor.
No, that was Taylor.
Oh, that was Taylor.
Yeah,
I thought
see,
it was Kendra.
Yeah,
I thought
right.
it was Kendra.
You
I
should-
answered my own
Oh,
question.
no. Monday when the car gets unloaded, they were both headed in the house. Because I give them a list. I say, you guys get this done before I get home from work. Well, they did, and I was pulling in the drive. Kendra's going to the house behind Taylor. Dad, this is why we shouldn't be doing this stuff. Mom's yelling at me, and I'm yelling at her. I'm like, well, that you guys got it done. It's great. Probably should
The
have
workforce atmosphere.
Right,
It's real.
At least the car's unloaded. I didn't have to do it.
IMCA Stock Cars, Gabe D. Shaw picks up the win for
Yep.
Smalls' team, or for Jordan's team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looked
And
pretty.
I heard his interview was touching.
It was. There was two shout-outs
Yeah.
in Victory Lane over the weekend, and one of them was Brock shouting Craig out, and then the other one was Gabe shouting Jordan out.
Yeah.
All about fantasy.
All
Yeah.
about fantasy. Them
Yeah.
two guys.
Jeez.
Who knew how big this was?
Right.
And then it opened up questions from Christy to me going, what's fantasy? I said, I do not have time for this. And our viewership is way larger. We're over 50 viewers all night tonight.
man.
So obviously they heard me when I said, if you want to know anything about fantasy, you watch the Dirt Weekly Wednesday nights at 7.
All right.
We'll
Or
try our best.
7:15, or Thursday, or Tuesday. Just pay attention.
Check Facebook first.
But Gabe Deshaw going +6. Like, he had to move his way,
Right.
move and shake his way. Mike Hagan made a pass on him, and then Gabe was able to get back by him going into turn 1, which was pretty sweet.
Will Shareski was punching there too, throwing it in there, going after him.
I thought 3 of them had a solid weekend for sure.
So have you ever seen the top 10 all have green arrows? Who the heck went backwards in this deal? The top 11, everybody in the top 11 had green arrows.
67.
That's because the green car fell out.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't make the list.
No, I didn't make the checkered flag.
Well,
That's
that was all
cool.
red arrows, minus 15.
Yeah, right.
I guess when Chris Tuchscher
That's
was
a
the
year's
pole sitter
worth.
and got DNF, so when he dropped out, that gave everybody at least one green arrow.
Yeah.
All right.
So after 2
I
nights,
know the
broke you
feeling.
down. So.
Jordan, after 2 nights, Brenner's been in the stock car 2 nights now after Saturday night.
Actually,
What's
3. He was in Mandan also.
Mandan.
So. Feedback. I'm excited for Brenner. I was able to literally follow him all night long in Mandan. Not getting out of shape. Not driving all over the corners type of deal. Picks his line, rotates around, accelerates out, repeat on the next corner, repeat lap after lap. Wasn't able to. I'm parking with him, so we talk a little bit. He's learning from a hobby to a stock car. One of the adjustments you get is brake bias. So and we, I'm going to speak for all drivers. We're all certain we know which way to the rear is.
Steven.
Some are forward, some are clockwise, and some are counterclockwise. It's a little handle on the dash. Okay, and I speak for all drivers. We are certain we know which way is which. About 90% of us are absolutely wrong.
Can I say Steven?
So when you get a new car, you got to mess with that. So long story long, Brenner was adjusting on that there. Got some tightness in 3 and 4 late in the race, pulled it back, and he was just giddy over the fact that he had that adjustment where he didn't have it in a hobby. So
And it makes a difference.
It does make a difference, right? I personally like it front going clockwise because it's like you're tightening a bolt. Because front brake would tighten you, and then loosening the bolt would be towards the rear. That's how I like it. Many of them are backwards from that. I can tell the way you're looking, Smalls. Yours probably backwards from that.
I'm pretty much like, that's the wrong way. Oh, go this way.
You're not sure.
And then 2 laps later, you're like, okay, now I got to remember this. Write it down.
So that's changing the brake from the front to the back?
More to the front wheels, more to the back wheels.
See, now that
you can
seems
adjust that.
Like a sport compact, that would be wonderful to do that. Because wouldn't you want that back just dragging around?
It's one of the few adjustments that the modified sport mod and stock car have. And if you ain't sawing on it, you're not doing what the guys winning are doing. I mean, I think everybody worth their salt is cranking on it all the time.
That sounds
starting with
hideous, that you're driving 70 miles an hour and you're doing this.
Yeah, well, you can only do it on straightaways because it won't move if you've got your foot on the brakes. It's too tight then. You have to get your foot off the brakes so you can adjust it.
That's why I'm going down the back straightaway, no hands on the wheel. I'm pulling a tear off and one on the
knee on the steering wheel, off the wall 6 times. It all makes sense.
And then at the same time,
ordering DoorDash after quarter 4. I mean, you're seeing where this is going here.
and Jordan's tuning in KCJB at the same time too.
I mean, look at it got hand
Conway
shoe
for a while.
It got hand shoe. Look at where he ended up.
Yeah.
The
Cold
drive
times he had no brakes, and again, it looked like it, but Cole's little incident was a reminder of how important the brakes are. And when your brakes are going bad, most people give up. Cole gassed it up apparently, so and he's my fantasy guy. So Cole, I need you on the track. I need my chickens on the track. So, but
that one left the coop.
Me giving Brenner a grading on a 1 to 5 scale. I'm going to give him a strong 3.5, 4. Just in picking up on it, I'm going to give him a 5 for staying out of trouble. I mean, he just stayed out of trouble for 3 nights. That's hard to
win.
do. That was hard to do. He had a little bit of body damage where he had stopped for something and something rolled into him, but he has nothing inflicted on himself. He was nervous of being on the wrong lap. I assured him he would be on the right lap from the beginning, and he is. And he's just been excited for this class since middle of last year, and I look forward to it just giving him a lot of pleasure. So he's an asset to the class.
Cody Schultz brought something up. The 2 car.
The 2 car, okay. The one Kyle was driving.
Got into the 67 and maybe helped take him out.
Kyle had said that there. I'm just going to say this.
I think the big thing is both of you are on my team. My fantasy team.
Yeah. I see where you're going. Yeah. So, little as we say in racing, if the high line's moving, you gotta make sure there's 6 feet up there. 7's better; it leaves all the vinyl on. But at any rate, it's been a long winter, maybe. So maybe that's over now. if people are running the high line, the etiquette is you got to leave it open. So
Jeff Bieber checked in about 6 minutes ago and said checking in at 7 p.m. Jeff, it's 7 p.m. Central,
right.
which would be 6 p.m. your time.
Yeah, so you're early. 45 minutes for sure. That was cool.
Yeah,
that was a play on math there.
So, IMCA Modifieds, Travis Hagen picked up the win again for the second night, stacking my fantasy points together.
Yeah.
Isaac Sondrel looked like the fastest car on the racetrack until caution flags got the better of him. We're just calling it caution flags got the better of him.
No, I got a name for this.
What is it?
Somebody called me and said, you're going to have to talk about this on Dirt Weekly. I'm like, talk about what? The farmer feud.
Oh.
No.
We got a name after this incident.
Okay, so that's a little bit unfortunate that's what that's called, because you don't want to have a feud, do you?
Have you ever watched wrestling? We need people in these stands. And the best part about it, I'm not involved.
That's amazing.
So you got that race, and
let's hear from the fan aspect. That's you.
This is what makes Nodak great. This is what is elite about it. Is no matter what, the cream's going to rise to the top, and it's tough to not stave off competitors when you got the class in the field. And so you get there, and no bias. I love Isaac. Lindsey Lawson is one of my very, very good friends. Dick Schultz has been one of my favorites, and nobody wants to see what happened happen.
No.
Nobody. And like when you're watching football, they go to the rules analyst, and I ask the three experts here, or the two.
I got answers. I got answers. Oh, wait until you get to me.
So Jordan and I are just gonna. Where's your popcorn at? Can you get your popcorn?
Yeah, you got
bring
two
up,
bags.
Bring up the popcorn.
Because I got a lot on the farmer feud.
Oh boy.
The Oreo.
Let's get the details.
We got the Oreo.
Yeah.
Jordan, I'm just gonna mute Jordan and I, and you guys can go ahead. Have your conversation.
Nobody wants to see that happen. But if you are taking the video, which we're blessed to have, that I don't know if you have it or want to show it.
Oh, yeah.
But if you'd send it to IMCA, the sanctioning body, and say, what can we learn from this? Should there have been a yellow? What move, what was done to deserve to go to the back? What move?
Whoa.
What was the call?
I believe the call was Pfeiffer, correct?
Yes.
Correct. But what move was done to send him to the back? Or could it be racing's racing?
Well, I think last night at the board meeting, because it ended up being a long discussion, obviously you're not going to go back and change it.
Right.
I mean, the only thing here's how I look at it. After listening to everybody come to my trailer and be like, oh, the 11 did it again. 11 did it again. I'm like, okay. And we all know how the 11 and the 75M are, So, but I have an open mind. It's racing. So I listened to all that. So I'm thinking Pfeiffer probably had it coming. And I see a bunch of stuff going on at the trailer over there. So I'm like, well, I better get changed out of my suit, because if this thing gets out of control, I got to try and step in. But then I go home and I watch the replay. And now the replay comes from the grandstand side. And I'm like, I don't know if it's totally the 11. How I look at it, I think it's a racing deal. But if this deal didn't happen where it happened and you go 100 feet more, then I think it would have been more the 11. Because the angle he would have had to make that corner, he was either hitting guardrail or moving the 12S up. But where it happened, they were still like this, and, they got into each other. I think I would have probably called that both ways. Granted, yeah, one car is going to the pits for sure, after that deal. But, I mean, the only thing, talking with Bruce last night at the meeting, to maybe calm the situation down, you could have said caution is on 12S and 11P. You're both going to the back. Obviously, 12S is headed to the infield. I mean, that's probably one way we could have handled that different. And I say we because, Bruce makes the call, but it's a Nodak Speedway call. So, we're in it to a group. So when you go to the board meeting, you talk about how we could have handled this different to maybe calm the situation down. So that's how I see that. Pfeiffer, he got a good run on Isaac. Isaac obviously was starting to kind of loot. That 3 and 4 was getting tricky down there. There wasn't grip. Isaac opened the door, and the run was there, and everybody knew you could drive it in way harder in 1 and 2. Well, I mean, with 4 to go, why in the hell? Who's going to lift? Why are you going to lift? And I sit here, we can poke fun at it. It's Wednesday now. We can poke fun at it because Pfeiffer's thinking, that ain't Isaac out there. That's Smalls. It's yellow and black car. You screw him, But
I think
it's a. I wanted to call it a 51-49 deal. I mean, both of them could have probably prevented it for sure. But like I say, 4 laps to go. Who's going to lift? They knew that next corner is probably going to determine the race. Guess what? It did, and neither one of them won it. So
I'm not one to shy away from a call or even tearing it apart like we are now. But I will tell you that I was injured in my feature, and I did not get to see it live. So the only input I have on this was a short clip. What's coming up here, and maybe I'm at least gonna get to see it on a bigger screen. So,
the thing that everybody has to remember is we are all competitors, and they want to win.
Oh, 100%.
Stephen Pfeiffer wants to win just as bad as Isaac Sondrel.
Yeah,
and
they got a late yellow, and that bunches it up. It sets the perfect stage for what you're describing.
And here's the deal: Bruce was on the catwalk to make this call, so he's seen the inside car. Well, what do you think he's going to call? I mean, the way he's standing and watching it, he's calling the 11.
And both of them.
But then you go back and watch this from the other side. Watch and see from this side, what do you think you're going to call? I mean, that's the other thing we got to take into consideration, where people are that are making the call. I mean, in hockey, you have 3 different refs. Everybody sees a different angle, but there's only 2 that determine it. Well,
See, Steven's starting to sniff in there now.
Both of them are having tremendous runs. Isaac's going bell to bell. Steven's bringing it all the way from the back, so they're both just, this is going to happen.
Isaac is so good down on this end in 1 and 2.
And we call it the Isaac line. He's in it.
He struggles down here.
Because this end started to slick off big time. I mean, it was going away in a hurry.
One comment I brought up the other night on the call, 13 or was it 11 of the 15 cars there were Rage chassis. Crazy.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it is by far the dominant IHA modified car.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the only one.
Travis is a few years old, maybe even more than that, 5, 6, but nonetheless, it is what it is. It's a Rage. So.
See, now there's Nodak at its finest. 3 cars going to be battling for the lead.
Travis has given Isaac a little possible sighting to the right. Mm-hmm. I'm doing that, Brandon, because we went to make the call.
Yep.
So I want to see.
Yep.
As I say, okay,
here.
Now Isaac's getting a sighting. He knows Steven's there.
Right.
He is looking at his right front tire.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, my. I did not see the completion of that. Huh. Okay.
I'm with you, Smalls. I think in hindsight being 2020, it's a 50-50 deal. You come over the receiver. Both of you got to give each other room.
Right.
Steven was there. You got to give each other room.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said in the meeting, 100 feet more, Steven probably would have been a 75% of the caution, because if you watch this, I mean, they keep going.
See, he's
watch
there.
his angle.
He's
I
there.
mean, where he is, that guardrail right there was going to get really tight.
Yeah.
So.
And he had to make himself room. He held his spot on the racetrack to make himself some room for the apex of the corner, for the entry.
And I'm going to take blame because I can. With me racing, I feel like I failed the racers because if I was just focused on doing track prep that night, I would have probably been watering that top in between races. Because
trying to make an alternate line.
Right, because it needed water to catch the bottom. We farmed the bottom, just watered the top, packed that in, and we. That's why when people say, "Well, you can race," Nodak's running good, you can race. Well, this is why I don't want to race because I would have probably went out there and watered in between on that high side to help speed that up because obviously the bottom was being more dominant, and it probably would have eliminated this situation. But
how is Isaac? His car himself, is he all right?
Yeah, he said he was sore Monday, so that was a pretty wild ride because the car really just.
Did the drive shaft come out of it? How did it get up in the air like that?
The right front broke. The right front broke and kicked it up in the air when it spun around. Do I got to bring it back up?
Well, yeah, I know. So Tate and I, we flew off the track there. Tate shot straight up in front of me, and I smoked him, folded my nose all under.
See how that right front, you see the right front that's up in the air right there? Yeah. See how it's broke?
Yeah.
Watch the car.
It was.
Watch the car spin around, and that right front, is it the upper control arm that breaks? Something on the right front breaks. As it goes in, Travis goes over it, it's broke. See how it kicks it up in the air there?
Pretty crazy, pretty crazy up in the air deal. I'm going to inject a couple of things. They're open wheel modifieds. That in itself makes it dangerous.
Right.
Like sprint cars.
Right.
Makes it dangerous. And so there's a little bit of that. Now, watching it this last time, I see the tires do kind of climb each other. I mean, they're beside each other, but Isaac's get climbed up. So, I referenced last year that Steven had put what I called a feeler gauge slider on Tyson. He did absolutely nothing wrong. He ran it completely out of air. It was a feeler gauge slider. And Tyson reacted with he didn't lift. He pounded him in the ass pretty hard. So, and that's what this is. They both knew where each other were the whole way in. Smalls, as you say, if they went 100 feet farther and Steven would have chattered him up the hill, definitely would have been Steven's deal. He overcooked the corner.
Right.
Were the point of contact and Isaac going a different direction?
That's a 50.
It's not clear.
Right.
It's not clear. I'm
I'm
certainly not saying Isaac turned into Steven, and I'm not going to say that Steven turned in either. I think they were side by side, racing for position, and the tires. I see there was a little climb job right there, and that's when Isaac just took a right, stood up in the air, and got all crazy. So. And
that's where I hope people just respect Nodak Speedway. Because, I mean, we didn't want to have a board meeting this week, but there was just some officiating stuff. And, I take full blame for it because at the end of the day, Bruce is hired to do a job, but the Nodak Speedway Board of Directors are over him, and we got to make sure we discuss things and make it right or get on the right page. And that's what the meeting was more or less. Like, how can we make sure these calls are done right? Let's stay with our rule book and, do the best job we can, And that's all the meeting was, and I think by the end of the meeting we all agreed that we could make improvements and hopefully this weekend's better, That's how I want the place to be ran. I want it – we got a good rule book, so let's use that as our backbone of the facility,
I don't know who's a better president, Trump or Smalls. Tell me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They both spell it out to you, and I like that. So
and when we're in the wrong, I think we got to get better at saying we're in the wrong. That's this. how we all. I think that's how the place has to be ran.
I'm going to touch on something right where you're at, right there. We don't rely on instant replay. We don't we don't get to review the play, as you guys are referring to football, all sports. So I think the decision made. From
where he was,
I think it's defendable,
right?
And it might be even arguable,
right?
But so be it. I'm with you guys on the 51-49, and I'm not trying to get out of a tough call because, again, Brandon, we went to this and we talked about the importance of being able to make the right call.
This would be a perfect one.
That call made at that speed was not 100% wrong, and I don't think it was 100% right either. The fact that Isaac ended up not being able to continue was the demise of his end of the night. I believe Stephen was sent to the back and was able to. I think
he charged all the way back and forth.
So all said and done, things were dealt out accordingly. I applaud you for trying to do the best you can. I have went on record that Bruce does a job that nobody wants to do, and it's easy to be critical of him.
Right.
I don't see anybody waiting in line to do it, and I say I've defended him. He's helped us out in Underwood without knowing he's going to help us out in Underwood.
Well, and here's the deal.
I like that he can make a call.
And this is how I look at it. If we don't go to this we have this meeting and we just come down on Bruce as, hey, it's your fault, you're the bad guy, this and that, he up and leaves, well, then it falls on me. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody wants to deal with me as the race director because they ain't going to like it. I'm going to, and I don't want to do it. I want to race.
Yeah.
But I also realized this weekend I cannot race. I mean, this weekend we're coming in. I'm going to start last in the feature so I can race the feature, but I'm going to pay attention to that track because I don't want to give up what we've worked so hard to have at Nodak is good quality racetracks. I think Sunday night would have turned out way better if we just watered the top in between some, we spent the money to have that, big wheels pull that pack, or it would have just took, 2 laps to a little bit of water, roll that in, and I think we would have had just a killer show. And we probably wouldn't even been here. So, that's where this whole deal, I want to blame Nodak, and I say it as Nodak because we're a group, that put this on. I want to, I was super disappointed in, let's just say, all the racers at Nodak Sunday. Why are we having this many cautions on night 2? Why are we at a high-speed demolition derby? And, I mean, guys were spread out on the track, but it was just like nobody had any respect for anybody after night 2. Night 1 was beautiful. We didn't have carnage.
We had a couple classes that got a little bit caution-y.
But I mean, Sunday was like a light switch of just, racing with blindfold. It's too early in the year to be doing that, and people don't come to watch cautions. People don't come to watch track prep, They come to watch racing. That's what they want to watch. So let's put it on, Racers, you want a better purse? Well, don't be chasing everybody off with 35 cautions a night, I mean, it's plain and simple, black and white.
To read your clarity as a driver, you're going to skip the heat and just resume at the back of the feature so that you can pay attention.
Focus on the track. And
that's a gigantic step for a racer because you're starting last on purpose. So.
And right. And I want to run for the championship just like anybody else. I want to have mods there. I want to have the car count. And I just feel like this deal with Isaac and Pfeiffer probably shouldn't have happened if I would have been paying attention to the track like I
It could have happened either way. It could have happened. The chances of it happening would have went down with you watching the racetrack.
Yeah.
Travis was showing that there was still a track in the middle. So
he was trying to make that middle work.
And I was up top the whole time. I mean, I started up in 6th. I was pretty much all the way back to last. And then, I was on that last restart when after this deal – I was starting 4th, or 5th. So, I mean, the couple times I got up way too high, like I tell people, it was up there. There was moisture up there. The track just got too dirty, and we needed a couple more cars up there to clean it off. Mm-hmm. It was up there, and the other problem was you needed more cars on the bottom to burn that off to equal it out.
To get some migration.
Right. It was just, looking back at it, if we would have never done anything at intermission, who knows? It might have
just cleaned off like the night before.
Right. But
you don't know. You're learning. Building a racetrack is no different than setting up a race car.
100%.
You're not going to hit it. You're not going to hit it right away.
You think you got to figure it out, and then you go home and start reading.
Right.
Well, you think you haven't figured out, and Mother Nature goes, no, not happening.
We're going to throw the humidity.
Yeah, we're going to throw this curveball at you.
Well, and then let's talk about it. Look at Sunday, 52 degrees, wind supposed to blow. The wind you don't think it affects too much because it's 52 degrees. Well, we don't put no water on it. Rains. But what happens at 3 and 4? Completely dried out. What happens at 1 and 2? Completely sticky.
Because the sun shines in 3 and 4.
But there was no sun on Saturday.
But there was enough sun on 3 and 4.
There was no sun on Saturday.
The wind blowing out of the south. Yeah.
There was no sun.
It was out of the south, which is unusual.
Right. There was no sun on Saturday. The wind completely dried out 3 and 4. Oh. We had rain that watered what? The whole track equally. So you look at that. Now we roll into Sunday. What did we have?
Sun all day.
Sun all day. It kind of dried out the whole track. Now we roll into this weekend. What do we have?
Hot. 85 and hot in sprint cars. Woo!
You're missing one other thing. 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
Oh, I didn't.
You got
to check the wind.
You got to pay attention to all of it.
Yeah, you're right. But we get started at 7. That's an hour in your favor.
You guys,
there you go.
You guys are dirt geeks. That's why it's called the Dirt Weekly.
Right.
The dirt geekly.
Before we wander too far off the Steven and Isaac thing, I hate it for Isaac to be in a high-profile situation again, if you will. Isaac this year's my fantasy driver. He had a seal on his motor, giving him trouble Saturday night. All I can say, coaches, hold your head up high. You got 2 DNFs, and your starting spot's going to be damn awesome this weekend. Right. So whatever you did in that heat race, don't wander too far off of what you did there, and enjoy the May the 4th be with you Sunday this weekend.
Eliminate 4 or 5 of them cautions in the middle there. We don't have that problem.
Right.
So,
I mean,
what I noticed.
What ifs?
Yeah, but what I noticed is, and I'm not going to call anybody out by name, the single car that should not be a cautions that come out are super frustrating
as a driver
to the flow of the race. If you can exit,
Hold on, could you repeat that? I missed that.
The single car cautions that shouldn't be a caution because they could have exited stage right.
There you go. Okay.
Or stage left.
Proverbial flat tires that stop.
I watched a few drivers. It may have been more than 3, maybe less than 5. I don't know how many there were. Drive by the entrance to the pit area and come to a stop on the straightaway, and a yellow comes out. You're affecting the race just because you want a yellow for yourself. There was a possum call on Sunday on that.
Yes.
Yeah. Justin, that in the stands drives people wild.
Single car yellows like that?
Well, because we're not dumb.
Right.
We know what's going on. And, yeah.
I'm going to repeat Bruce on the receiver. It's a judgment call, and I'm making him. And he should.
Well, and that's what.
Good for him.
We talked about it last night in the meeting, and I said I quit. I said I want to quit bringing up Iowa or Boone, Marshalltown. But guys spin out there, and it's like, boom, they get going. Here, guys sit there and wait for the caution. Why? Yeah. Why? Or if somebody gets a flat tire, they dart to the inside. Or, here, obviously, we got that concrete down on the bottom. They can't dart to the inside. But if you stay tucked up tight to the wall and you're going at snail pace, that leader or whoever is going to catch you, they will make it around you.
They'll make it around you.
You get around the corner and get in. We got to quit stopping the race up here. It goes
when they're down on the bottom moving 3 miles an hour, let them do it. The groove is 4 car lengths out.
Right. It goes for going to Williston. It goes for going to Underwood. Fans don't come to watch cautions. They want to watch you race. And if we don't have fans, what don't we get to do? Race
for money.
100%. So.
And that is the most unfortunate thing about that wreck, because watching Steven, Isaac, and Travis battle for that was must see.
Yeah,
And
it was craftsmen doing their sport. They all had a great presentation and got boogered up.
but the most important thing, obviously, we all know this is the fantasy, right? and then talking to Steven after the race, and I thought maybe you just go lay by your dish. A lot of emotions, and he says, well, I couldn't let you lose all those points.
See, I've conditioned him so well.
You built Steven for Craig.
I did. I made such a great fantasy guy out of him.
Hey, if we're going to talk about Steven after the race, let's go back to Saturday. So Smalls gets to race the heat race.
I'm there with, yep.
11P. He comes in there, he bakes her in there, and I'm like, okay, I'll get on the binders for you. But he spins out, and I'm like, oh, just get ready to go to the pits. That's what I'm thinking. No caution. I'm like, stay on the gas. We're still racing. So there was no caution, and everybody's texting me, geez, your first heat race and you wipe out Pfeiffer, and I'm like, I didn't even touch him. I didn't. Well, it sure looked like it. Well, I'm sure it did, So I'm waiting. I'm waiting in the trailer. Is he coming over to tell me that he spun out on his own? Or is he going to come over and yell at me? Because he thinks I spun him out. Nothing. I'm waiting and waiting. So now the whole, Sunday night goes by. Now I'm standing at the pit trailer there, and he comes up, and we get chatting, and I said, I didn't spin you out. Well, and he looks at me, and he says, well, I know that, because if you would have touched me and I would have thought you spun me out, do you think I would have started moving again? Nope. I spun out on my own. That's why I took off.
I was just going to say, Steven can take whatever he gives.
Right.
He can.
So I said, well, then why didn't you tell me right after that race? I was going to let you know Wednesday. I was going to let you sleep on it for a couple days. See, so that's why I come on here. I can say whatever I want because they play the game too behind the scenes. So
Steven knows what's going on.
Right. And Slato just sitting there smiling.
He's learning.
He's learning. Yep. So just so everybody knows,
I love you guys, Steven, Karen.
I
Slayton,
didn't touch
Ollie.
11. That was
Chris.
not my caution.
And everybody agreed. That mattered.
Right.
Excellent. April's over.
Right. Who would have thought we'd had 2 nights in that Nodak in April?
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest
Not
message.
me.
Biggest message of the whole weekend.
Yeah.
I kept bringing it up, just like it's April,
Wow.
and we're already 2 nights into this. It's April.
92 cars and 99
in April.
And I'm going to brag a little bit.
Impressive.
We lost a whole whopping $500 over the weekend. And I want to say
worth it.
We're bragging because that just shows how many people were in them pits and in those stands on conditions that could have been easily
less than favorable.
100%. So, I mean, we got to thank all the pit crew, all the fans that did come out. I mean, to me, it was a home run. We got to race. We got to have fun, do what we love to do, and we took a $500 hit.
Saturday night.
Move on to this weekend.
Great racing.
Well said.
Horrible business decision. Probably to race.
Oh, my phone blew. You going to cancel yet? I just reply, do you not know who the F I am? We don't cancel. We race. Dress warm. And Tuesday before the weekend, the first thing I said at the board meeting, if any of you guys thinking about canceling this weekend, speak up now because I'm not dealing with the nonsense Saturday. Everybody said, well, we'll just race. There we go. That's the board I want.
My comment was,
we are racing.
When it's 2 inches of rain and there's no end in sight, those are the days you have to cancel.
Right.
This year was cold. The grandstand showed it, but at a $500 loss, I think it's a home run.
I just do. Right, 100%.
So, your mama was there. My 91-year-old dad was there.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Dress accordingly. I tell you what, Estevan people know how to dress accordingly.
Yes. Because
they don't say it's too cold out there. Like, it ain't raining. Let's go to the races.
Right.
Well, it's cold out. Well, that don't count. So, and you were able to take our point season with the late models. You knew we were going to give up a weekend, so you counterbalanced that with an April show. Took a swing at 2 nights, and you got them both in. Right. This will matter when it rains in May and June.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah. It's coming.
Right.
It always is. So
So I mean, I think it's a home run with the volunteers we had. They dressed warm. I mean, how impressive! 92 cars, 2 hours and 22 minutes or whatever it was.
It was
Yep.
daylight and lots of it when it was over.
like Brandon said, he didn't even have time to read the lineups off. I thought Saturday night was a home run. Sunday, I mean, I would say we weren't too far off. 99 cars, about a 2 hour and 50-minute program. I mean, to me, that's impressive numbers. The racing was pretty good.
With
I
think 3 features
right.
pushing on the. I'm not saying we made the time limit, but 3 features
Right.
pushing to
close
to a time limit.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
And that makes a big deal.
Yeah.
right.
When you're watching the clock, it's everything.
Well, when
Right.
you're looking at a 20 lap race, that's a 20-minute time limit. You push that 20 minutes, in the hobbies push it 15.
Yeah, you didn't cut laps. You
didn't cut anything.
Right.
But I'm just saying, when you push that envelope and it all adds up. Think about it. Just you're sitting at home right now in your mind. Add up 20, 15, and 25. If you add them 4 together, you're over an hour.
Right.
You know. So you think
Barring trouble.
yeah.
So, I mean, measurable trouble.
And
Yeah.
and I mean, did everything go with flying colors? Great. No. I mean, that's why my voice is the way it is, because I ended up yelling at, some people 3-4 times, and I hope they come back. But it is what it is. I admitted to them that we screwed things up, and they were mad or whatever, and hopefully they
Did you yell at Walla?
Would I?
Did you? He went home.
Well, I mean, I had a chat with him, but I mean, he how do you say it? He's growing up.
Yeah.
He has to work on Mondays.
Oh?
So, I mean, he's got a responsibility,
I heard he had other plans for Sunday, and good
right,
on him. So.
Right. I mean, you gotta life
make life-
happens. You gotta, in 17, he chose to run for a national championship and not be, around, I guess. Well, now he's going to race when he has time, and I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, that's how a lot of this is nowadays, I mean, racing is not getting any cheaper, and it's not getting any easier. I mean, I tell you what, I probably wouldn't even got to race this weekend if it wasn't for Gabe and Bo, I mean, people like to, if they talk about Gabe, oh, he's a spoiled kid. You think if he was a spoiled kid, he'd be helping me to try and get on the track? No, they know how much time I put in at the racetrack. They want to see me race. They come down and help me out so I can race. And, I mean, that was huge. Like, that's what, I kind of felt like I was finally back in the game a little bit. It was kind of funny. Sunday, Gabe was over there working on my car while I was doing track stuff, and all he was wondering is what I felt, and he's making changes. Is it going to help him down the road? 100%, because, I mean, their plan is to go A-Mod probably next year. Is he using me to learn stuff? For sure. Am I teaching him much? I mean, probably.
That'd be interesting.
No,
of course you are.
But in a way,
Yeah.
I am, because I give
you
feedback of what I felt,
Yeah.
and then he changes stuff. Well, did that get better? And I thought Sunday we made a vast improvement on dry, slick. I mean, if my car would have been like Saturday, there's no way I could have ran that top on Sunday.
You sure speak pretty. You do.
Well,
He's cleaned up a lot
You
since he
speak
became
nice.
Nodak president.
Well,
I'm with you, Smallsy. And
it's the truth. That's
a lot
I
of people
sure ran
help.
for mayor, but I don't know how to type, so I can talk. I can't type.
I can only imagine the phone call, Smalls being mayor, to me. Brandon, I need this typed up.
You're
Listen to
right.
me right now.
Yeah.
Make it look good.
Yeah. Make it like I said it, but I didn't say it. I mean, it's the truth. I want this racing deal to last. I'm really super nervous about it. I voiced my opinion to IMCA. The biggest thing I'm so nervous about right now at Nodak, this grandstand deal has me freaked out. Where is the people? Where do you advertise this? Radio costs so much money. TV costs so much money. Do you get the money? Holly does such a good job with our Facebook right now, and then people didn't even know that we raced Saturday, Sunday.
And it was everywhere. It was everywhere.
That's what I thought.
And instead of them understanding that Saturday night was race night, they're questioning in the comments,
What?
you guys screwed up your number. You raced on Sunday. No, we raced Saturday. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But even
There
though
was
it's
actually
said
quite a bit of that. Now
there
that
was
we're
a lot
talking
of
about
that.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
They don't race on
did
Saturday.
you watch that
They race
YouTube
both
thing?
days.
I have not yet because I've
Did
been
you,
busy
did
with.
you watch it all?
They were talking about
Is that? Hey, here's the thing. How crazy is that to pull up on my TikTok after, was that not something to
they were
listen
saying
to?
bring your race cars to the grocery store parking lot.
I thought.
Bring it, boys.
That's what they were.
Yeah,
They
the common man. Reach the common man.
Hopefully we can get the farmer feud in the marketplace parking lot.
I don't like that farmer feud. It's all good. It's good.
I like it because Isaac's car looks like my old car, and now it's Steve and I we're both white, so we're separated.
At the end of that little podcast thing, because you sent us a clip.
Yeah.
And for those that are wondering, it's called the Happy Hour or
Harvick
Happy Hour, and you can YouTube it.
No
whatever.
comparison to what we're doing
No
here.
comparison.
Right.
But it's just fun to listen to that stuff. What hit home for me in that, and you need to go watch it or listen to it, because towards the end of it, Mike Joy talks about his family and how his daughter has nothing to do with racing, but his son has everything to do with racing. And how at a certain point of his life, he had to make a decision because his kids were competing for his time against racing.
Oh, I'm right there.
Your kids, people need to understand this. I did it for 8 years. You're done. You're 3.
Yeah.
Your kids, your families are actually competing for your time to be a dad or a boyfriend, husband, whatever, against racing. And you're willing
100%.
to do that to make sure the sport of racing goes.
Right.
And it just hits. It hits in a different light.
And this ain't
Yeah.
and this ain't a sob story,
Yeah.
but Kendra's trying this goalie thing out, and she plays 5-on-5 hockey on Tuesday nights. Well, what did I have to choose last night? To go watch her and help her,
or a board meeting.
or a board meeting to help this. And it drives me nuts when people say, well, that's what you signed up for. No. I signed up for it because there ain't another dumbass to do it. Sorry that I care to try and make this work so we can make it to the 75th. Make it to the 100. Why do we want to give up on the Nodak Speedway now? There's so many people that have put in so much time. Why do we want to give up on it now?
And some assets you were talking about before we got on air that you had that you're very proud of.
Which one?
The below the belt boys you were talking about.
Fill me in.
The nutsack.
Well, I mean,
Below the belt, boys. Let's go Oreo popcorn.
right. Well, I mean, whatever. That's, I mean,
You got to make tough decisions.
well, 100%.
Who's got the below the belt boys to
here's
do the
my
Dacotah Mod Tour Saturday or the Friday night, whatever it was, to race at 32 degrees in sleet? That's you.
I mean, and it just isn't me. I mean, it goes, Nodak's ran on a whole team. Underwood's ran on a whole team. You know, like when that whole deal happened down in Underwood with the fence through, I'm like, I'll jump in and help because I can help fix this fence. I probably maybe stepped in line too much because that's just who I am. I mean, I can be like, I feel like I can see a situation. No different than Handshoe's deal. Now, I was on the catwalk watching the races, trying to just be a racer or whatever. That deal happened. I took off running right away. You know why? Because I'm like, they're going to try and put them tires back with wreckers, four-wheelers, whatever, and it's going to piss me off. Because it's Swanston night. We got a Bobcat. Push them back with the Bobcat. I ran all the way across the track, and you know how fast I am. Super fast. Legs cramping. I'm trying to get in the machine, and I'm like, my fingers are cramping. And I drive all the way over there, and I'm like beeping the horn, record drivers out the way. You got the car. I'll get the tires. But that's just, to me, the mindset I got to have to make this thing work, you know, because the fans don't want to sit there and watch the wreckers trying to get the tires back. And poor Wayne, if anybody missed it.
And I did not get it on.
Oh, you did enough. I mean,
I got enough of it.
We had our first rollover. Did you see it?
He told me about it. I didn't see it.
Poor Wayne Johnson.
The four-wheeler got me. He said, I go, what do you mean?
Four-wheeler ramped up the tire, and Wayner kind of rolled the four-wheeler. But
yeah, he said he did a 10-foot jump. Everything's sore.
But, right. You know, it's just stuff like that. That's what makes the thing happen. I always feel like if you're the president of something, you got to be the hardest worker. Do you have to know how to do every job? Well, you got to explain how to do every job. I mean, if you can't do the job, you better go out and find the people to do the job, you know. And you know, Bruce, people wanted me to fire him right away. And I'm like, well, it's not a me choice. We're a board. And I said, you can't. How do you fire somebody if you don't know how to do their job? You know, you got to.
So if Bruce is watching this, that's got to make him feel. That's not cool.
Well, I don't care if Bruce is watching because we've had this conversation in private too. So that's just who I am and how I am. I'm going to tell you to your face or on the phone or whatever, you know. He does a good job. I don't want his job, you know. I can do track prep. Bruce don't need to do track prep. You know, Tom can do track prep. He don't need to be making all the calls. But at the end of the day, we got to work together and make this happen because – don't we all want to go to the races? I mean, isn't that the end of the day goal? I mean, there's nobody getting rich here. We're not promoter ran. We are club
ran. We went through that a few times this winter. It all makes sense today.
Right.
You've done a great rendition of the job you're doing. I think you hit everything loud and clear.
And I mean,
I appreciate it.
I'm not pumping my own chest. I don't need to. I just want to be able to go to the Nodak Speedway.
That's what compassion for the sport. That's the explanation of compassion for the sport, the game.
Right.
And everybody that's involved has it on some level, and you've been picked out to be the president, and you got to lead by example.
Short straw.
Short straw.
Really? I mean,
they were all short. I mean, when it was your turn to draw.
Right. I mean, that's what I say. No. That's why you got two.
Getting out of it.
You got two Bell School kids running the Nodak Speedway. Why is it? You know, me.
That's a great deal.
And then Robbie, vice president. I mean. For us to, you know, we kind of sit back and tease each other. Robbie and I, like, we really got this big of a season at the Nodak Speedway. Who would have thought old Smalls and Knob here, captains of the ship? I mean, that's scary. Yeah. If we can do this, I mean, with somebody with a real IQ, what could they do, you know? But those people like to hide behind the scenes, and they don't want to jump in where Robbie and I mean – really, what the hell do we got to lose? This is all we know. This is all we want to do. You know, I mean, is it a lot of work? Yes. You know, do we fight? Oh, yeah. I mean, through 3 weeks ago, you would have thought that opening night wouldn't even kicked off. But, you know, at the end of the day, you got to bite the bullet, get along, and figure it out. I mean, I'm sure you deal with it at the grocery store. I mean, it's frustrating. You're always looking for employees, this and that, but – the ones you do have that make it happen, you know, you get it done. I mean, it's just how it is. Like I just want people to. It's a club. I mean, this World of Outlaw late model deal. You know, we sit in the room and how many tickets have we sold? We've only sold 100. I mean,
it's a long ways away.
It is, but. It's scary. I mean,
it's scary.
Knowing you want to sell 4,000, 100's a long ways away. True that.
You know, and
but how many people buy in advance? I mean,
but yeah, and we talk about it. But then, how many ticket windows do we need open, and who's gonna volunteer to do it? See, I like to say, okay, you sport mod guys, hobby stock guys, you better be working ticket windows because what's gonna pay for your 4,000 to win show in August is this thing. So you better put in your 4 hours of volunteer time running 12 ticket windows. So. These people of mine that come to one race.
Let's give them our best presentation.
100%.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You were hitting the loud bells really well here.
Wow.
Different regimes over the 75 years as we get close in on that.
Right.
I mean, there's been I'll call them regimes that have lasted anywhere from a 10 to a 20-year window. There was Kenny and Irene Miller. You know, that's the ones I remember being very young. And you're in the middle of setting up your own your own Roman Empire, if you will, and you're hitting all the bells right. It's club ran. Most people don't understand that. They don't know racing any other way. There is a different way, and it's unfriendly.
Right.
It's unfriendly. We actually have compassion on the hot sauce Steven deal at a promoter. He forgot about that already. There's nothing to talk about.
Right.
But we're talking about it because we have compassion for it.
Right.
We want everybody to come out of there good, and I think everybody come out of there okay.
Right.
I do.
I mean, we're rolling
We're
into
gonna
Wednesday, and things to me have calmed down.
Yeah.
Both of them are probably in the shops. Isaac's probably have to work harder this week than Pfeiffer, but they'll probably both be there Sunday because we've moved on.
We've kind of give them a public jury here of our own, if you will, and
I think that's what
nobody's wrong, nobody's right. We're going to race some more,
right? And that's what this show does. I think it kind of keeps. I mean, we're on Facebook, but keeps some of the nonsense off Facebook because
what's nice about it is you mentioned it. We can talk about it and explain it and let emotions settle. Mm-hmm. Where if you don't, maybe one of them never comes back,
right?
Because I've heard that. Well, where did so-and-so go?
Yeah.
I'm tired of the Nodak.
Yeah.
I've heard that a lot. And by what you're saying, the way you're speaking pretty, hitting all the bells and whistles, that's what you need.
We've touched on that, so
Ole Olsen is rolling over in his grave right now with you saying Smalls is speaking pretty.
Yeah.
He's the one that taught me to speak, and if you ever talked to him, it was
kind of your normal.
But and
again, a guy that wanted to see the sport succeed. So.
He was another one, and it's cool to see. Wyatt hasn't been in a race car for quite a while, but Ole passes away, and that it was nothing changed there. That's just behind the scenes stuff to keep the club running. I've talked to Wyatt more in the last 6 months than I probably had in the last 6 years. It's brought back a good relationship that was all started because of the Nodak Speedway. I always kind of tell people, who would I be if it wasn't for Nodak? I mean, who would I be? Who would Jorn be? Would he?
It's built a lot of our characters.
100%. Would you know all the people? Yeah, you could go to Walmart, buy your groceries cheaper, but they probably go to your grocery store just because you're a huge fan of the Nodak Speedway. I have that mentality.
I do all the time.
Can I share that if I'm
he
having
doesn't
a
work
bad
at
day?
night, otherwise we'd have an hour there.
Right.
If I'm having a bad day and I just drive by the track, it feels better.
Right.
It does.
But it's the opposite too for those of us that go into Marketplace on a given day and we walk around and I'm getting some lettuce or veggies for Jenny or whoever, and boom, Craig comes up. Man, how about them races? How about did you watch that last night? That makes our day too.
Right. And then I see in the grocery store, and I'm like, I'm going to ignore him and walk by him because I know how I am at the racetrack, amped up. And, I might come across as an asshole sometimes because I feel the pressure. I want to make everything right. You're doing your job at the grocery store. Let you be. If you come up to me, that's different, But, I try and at the racetrack be open. But, Tom will tell everyone. I get pretty, I want to run the place up. Perfect is close enough, and Saturday was pretty good. Sunday, wasn't up to par, and
Can we talk about these announcers now?
Yeah,
bring it up.
Okay. Should we talk about the board meeting? Okay, so Brandon's been doing announcing for a while. This is where I know how this show's turned into me talking way too much. That's why my voice is.
We're enjoying it.
Yeah,
but
educational.
Let's just say
we'd veto you if we weren't liking what we were hearing.
Well, please do. What can I do to do that?
Gentle,
okay, so
gentle.
So Brandon comes to a meeting, about this announcing deal. Nick Holberg is one of the best announcers any racetrack could ever have. Things change. He can't do it no more. Okay. So Nodak goes looking, and good on Nick. Nick calls not April 1st. He calls way back end of February and gives us a heads up.
And
good on him.
to your point, Nick should be doing Minnesota Wild, Las Vegas Knights. That's where he's going to be living.
Right. 100%. But then, so it puts us in a place to start looking for announcers. Brandon will step in, do anything any racetrack wants because that's who he is. He wants to see him,
succeed.
Yeah. And, we were like, well, let's not just throw it in Brandon's lap to be the announcer. So we start looking around. Announcers are like trying to find somebody that works hard nowadays. They're not out there.
And who wants to follow Nick?
100%, because in your mind,
Good point.
you're probably going to get criticized left and right no matter what. So, Robbie volunteers his sister more or less, and I'm like kind of on the fence about it. Christy does a good job with the banquets and stuff like that, but can she announce a race? But what else do we have? There was stuff that I would say, other people didn't like when Brandon would announce, how he did things or said things. So we just had a discussion with Brandon, and, he took it to heart. And then I had another
I kept calm, but I was pretty frustrated after that.
100%. But I think it needed to be done, and then the next day I talked to Brandon, and we have a, because we're friends, we just have a put it out on the table type of conversation. And I'm like, just go watch this one night. And if you're going to do this with an open mind, I think you're going to see what we mean, And he did. And I went back to watch Saturday night to see how they did. And I'll be honest with you. I thought Brandon improved huge on his announcing. It was huge. I loved how he called the race. There was no other, let's just call it bullshit. No, he didn't have time for it. He called the race. Christy, she was pretty quiet night one, but to me showed potential. We're all a rookie at some point in our life, So, but then into night two, she got talking more. I thought her and Brandon went back and forth, good. I mean, do they have the voice to be announcers? Probably not. But
this is a conversation him and I have. When Western North Dakota, Nodak Speedway or Western North Dakota, is relying on Brandon Beater to be a full-time best announcer in the western half of the state, or Smalls Medler to run the Nodak Speedway,
right.
The racing world is digging deep.
We're in trouble.
But one thing that
I
Brandon
see it in a humble site.
What you got
availability?
You're there. You have the knowledge too. Example at the end of Saturday night, and we're all packing up to go. You start talking about why they ripped the track open, put the moisture in. Well, you guys talk about dirt more than anybody ever talked about, but it's important.
It's my knowledge. Here's what happened when I went back and watched that night. I was using my knowledge and my personal experience in every aspect of the way I announced. Instead of portraying the races that were going out on the racetrack, I would refer everything I said to my own experience. And in my mind, that's how I was taught, or that's how I learned, because I was always a color commentator with Nick. So Nick would always throw me softballs. Nick would always go, well, Brandon, when you were out there in a hobby and the track did this, what did you do? Well, I took that, and all I did was make myself that announcer that talked that way. And I'm like, oh, that's a bad deal. And it's hard. Do you know how hard it is? When your brother wins the feature, do you know how hard it is? He's just a racer.
Right.
He's just a racer. When Max Beater wins a feature this year, because I'm hoping he will, he's just a racer.
Right.
I might get excited the way I call the end of the race. I might be the dad, the Ned Jarrett or whatever.
You might have to hit the mute button and turn around and give a big old,
Yeah, right. But when it comes down to it, he's a racer.
Right.
Everybody up there's everybody out there on the track is a racer. I'm going to call Taylor Stenvold's first feature win, Taylor Heaton's first feature win, the same exact way I would call Max Beater's first feature win.
And it's tough to do, and it's tough to have that conversation with Brandon to reel him in. But at the same time, I also want Brandon to call me on a Monday morning and be like, holy, what'd you do that track, and then talk about how it could be done.
I beat
better.
around the bush a little bit more than he does. He's just straightforward, but we lead into the conversation.
Well, all right. Since we're throwing constructive criticism out there, I'll use my below the belt boys and share.
Okay, let's hear. This ought to be good.
So, all through Saturday, all through Sunday, never once when you guys were announcing did I hear, she tried to hide it by the
Yeah. Well, you got to wake up some of the
grizzly
bears
the
first.
thing that nobody's seen is I had a laptop go down on Saturday night. We tried so many different things up there. Like Nodak had an FM transmitter that went bad. I order a new FM transmitter. Okay, I order a new one. Order a new one. It comes with a different hookup on the back of it. Who would have thought that? That frustrates the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Okay, so there I am at Walmart buying a CB radio antenna. Literally, I bought a CB radio antenna, and that's what's hooked up to the FM transmitter.
You said you need to find something with the right connector.
The right connector. I found one. And then the board asked if we could do the My Race Pass audio. So in the My Race Pass app, there is now audio of the Nodak Speedway, live audio that you can tune into and listen. I think you have to have the paid version of My Race Pass.
Sure, yeah.
But kind of like MRN.
Well,
huh?
So with adding some of that extra stuff, I added a soundboard, I added a laptop. We added all that stuff up there, and I had a laptop go down right within an hour before the races on Saturday night, so I'm scrambling, and whatever. It all worked out. The computer, the playlist that I normally had, I didn't have. Put it that way. The music playlist.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
And that's the other thing. People don't see a lot of this behind-the-scenes stuff. That's why I'm like, we got to get this first weekend in because we have a lot of new people in place. We have a new secretary, new treasurer, new announcer, another new announcer, new victory lane. I mean, new track prep equipment. Like, there was a lot of new stuff for Nodak. And guess what? We got sprint cars coming for the first time since 2013, a NOSA sanctioned event. We better be prepared, and I'm going into this weekend feeling a lot better. I thought last weekend rolled pretty smooth. I mean, it was amazing. Saturday night, first time giving out checks at Nodak. There was 3 checks left the next day. Sunday night, we only had 15 checks left. Marcus's wife helped. There you go again. The racetracks working together.
Yeah.
Underwood's been doing this for a while, and I've been like, why can't we do that? If they can do that, why can't we do it?
Mm-hmm. And when you were asking that, Mariah had said, I'm here. So good on her.
And then I'm walking around, and she comes up to me. Everything's good, Smalls. She just it was almost like she could just tell, I just needed to know everything was good,
But you need to know that,
right?
When you're driving the race car, you're doing the track prep, you're beating yourself up, you're doing all this stuff, you're mad at yourself because the track got away from you. You need to know, hey, Smalls, everything up in the booth, we had our problems, but everything was A-okay.
Right.
Everything in the trailer for the checks, A-okay. You can move on. Your mind moves on.
If there was problems, they were fixed.
They were fixed.
In that
If
division.
Kelly had issues, she fixed them without bothering you.
Right.
If I had issues, I fixed them without bothering you.
Yep.
And yeah,
Right.
the sport compacts got paid a little more than they were supposed to. Wrong pay scale in there. And Kelly's just like, don't kill me. And I'm like, what's the problem? And then she tells me, and she's like, most guys were so good about bringing their checks back. I said, really? How much difference would it have been? I don't even care. I mean, it's our first time doing it. If you can admit to your mistakes, I'm fine with it.
It'll be repaired.
And I think I learned that from Ole from day one. I mean, he always said, I'm going to be mad for 2 minutes if you tell me right away. If I find out 2 weeks later, I'm going to kill you. I mean, you might as well tell me right away. And nobody's perfect that does this stuff, I mean, so it's just, to me, it's cool to see, more and more people come together to make this thing happen. not only here, but Underwood. Look at what Underwood has come to be. I mean, they're getting car counts over 100. That to me, that speaks volumes. I mean, who would have ever thought 10 years ago that Underwood would be that way? Who would have thought they would be paying checks out? I mean, I remember kind of going, and you don't know if you're going to get paid or not. I mean, that was kind of a thing around racetracks. Now racetracks are trying to give the money out as soon as they can.
Don't want to let you out of there without it.
So you can get your checks to the bank and order your parts to race next week, because I don't care who you are, you bring some type of fan to that stand. And that's why I want to race, because I feel like I can be entertaining. I mean, how many times did you ask yourself, what is Smalls doing up on the high side on Sunday? I mean, I was up there no man's land by myself. Like,
I think for the most part, every fan just has one eyeball on the battle up front and the other eyeball on Smalls.
Actually,
you never know what's going to
that's
transpire.
how the camera kind of works.
Saturday night I gave you friction because I'm like, there's the battle was grinding big time with Walla and Hagen up front,
Right.
but there was action all over the track.
That's what I said. There was racing within the racing.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Fear the rear making moves.
Well, I think we just did.
Okay.
Let's call it.
I was going to say, Kenzie Hagen needs to fear the rear, make the moves to have the kids so Travis can race this weekend.
He needs a weekend off. by the stats of Marcus's deal he shared, Travis needs a weekend off.
Yeah. Well, and he's not even on Craigslist. Yeah.
Hey, that's a different type of list, isn't it?
Did you see that list that was put out by Marcus Tomlinson this week on Facebook?
Yeah.
With the IMC modified list?
I did.
Let's call that a make and move.
Yeah.
There's more to it.
That was
I've
impressive
had
stats.
I have.
I'm not even on it. I didn't race a modified.
I've made some phone calls.
It's true.
The 5 wins I have on it.
16.
The 5 wins I have on it. I'm like, they all came in 16.
Are they?
Well, I guess the one in 2020, but I'm like, jeez.
Got them all, huh? I didn't get in.
Well, it sparked some interest, and I made some phone calls to the stat gurus down at IMCA. They're going to email me some stuff, and I hopefully have some stat ammunition come Sunday.
Some totals. I was always going to get the top 10 in North Dakota type of deal, just because.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Everybody had their opinions.
That is one badass thing about IMCA.
Here's the problem.
No
though.
telling stories.
No. Well, but here's the issue. They only track it by driver by year. So in order to go back driver by track by year, you have to do some serious digging. Because when you call IMCA, all you do is get the amount of wins. So it'll say Smalls, 50 wins. And it'll say 2017 20, 2016 39, whatever. It'll just, I said 50.
Years.
They break, and you can't dig down any deeper than that.
Oh.
You cannot dig down and see by racetrack.
How many in mine? How many in Wilson?
Right. Because what I wanted, when I seen that list, I wanted to have the top 5 hobby stock feature winners in Minot at Nodak Speedway, the top 5 sport mod, the top 5, because it's going to shed some light. What I wanted was shed some light on drivers that have moved to other classes and had success, because you forget so quickly that Jorn might be a top 5 modified winner at the Nodak Speedway. But I don't know that. But he might be. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
And then somebody would go, holy crap, Jorn's 3rd on the all-time modified list at the Nodak Speedway.
Well, we always talk about how fast
Yeah.
people forget.
Yeah.
People don't even know who Eric Lautenschlager is anymore.
Eric
Yeah.
who?
Right. It goes that fast. It
goes
really
that
does.
fast.
I won about 70 features in Wissota Modifieds, and nobody even knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yep.
I got 6th in the nation one year. Who cares?
Right.
And all the research and everything that I'm
Wissota
doing.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marcus's list had some Eastern guys on there, the Eastern
Right.
tracks. Just for reference, everything I'm going to do, I'm going to preface as Western North Dakota. Because I like the East. It's cool. But I want to talk about what we're doing over here on the west side of the state. Basically, Minot, Mandan,
This
west.
way. Yep.
I didn't even know the list was floating out until Conway sends it in our group. And Smalls, where are you at? I'm like scrolling through.
This
I'm like,
list
I'm on
needs
it.
to get onto the page.
This list needs to get onto the page.
It does.
Did you see it?
can't.
No, I didn't. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I recognize your wins. I was there for most of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this list didn't recognize Jordan.
I'm not even on it.
Not even on it.
My last modified win was in 14. Way
Didn't
back
make
when.
the cut.
So who's
know.
number
August
one
of
on this
14.
list?
Travis Hagen.
Travis
Well,
on this
don't
one.
tell them.
Oh, we'll share it with you.
Who's number 2? Take a guess.
Smoking Hank.
Can you get a list of
That's
most-
interesting to say that because you should. No, I think it only showed Hank at 5 wins.
Yeah, he's tied with.
You got to remember, this list is okay.
Yeah.
Hold it, Craig. This list
16
is
to 25.
2016 to 2025.
Yeah, but interesting. That's where you said go back to IMCA beginning because like 97 was our first year.
Right.
That
Right.
changes everything. Then Hank shows right up.
Right.
And again, Hank's got a bazillion WISSOTA feature wins and late model wins. So it's almost hard. It's you got to be in the right group to say his name and get the appreciation. You have it, but that's the joke between Mike Tomlinson and I. My first year in stock cars, some reference was made to a modified, and they said, Jordan raced a modified?
What's got to be Walla then?
Holy cow.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
He's second.
Because he had national championship in there.
In
which
17.
which is awesome for sure. So
But just think, I wonder how many features he won that year in 17. I mean, because I think Walla was at 59 wins. So it would, say 20 of them come in 17. I mean,
How many times has Travis Hagen passed Walla for a win? I wonder that. That was a bet that I would lose.
yeah, but
As good as Travis is,
here's the deal. If we're going to talk fear the rear making moves, Travis Hagen at 90, what was it? 94. What is he, 32 years old?
phenomenal.
Think about it.
Phenomenal.
If people ain't putting together a late model for this World of Outlaw late model show for him, we're dumb. I mean,
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, he's a wheel man. There's
Obviously,
no doubt about it.
obviously he can wheel a car. I mean,
Yeah, we've got a half a dozen that are extremely talented here. And I'm not beating up anybody else. They'll have their days too, but
so, okay, we know
Wow.
Travis is amazing. Why wouldn't he, family, I get it, I know that, but why wouldn't he go the way of Ricky Thornton? Start playing with that. He's got the talent, right? He could run with Ricky.
yeah. Yeah, well, I agree.
yeah,
I think
but
it has
it's,
more to do with
major
I think you said it.
dedication.
Family.
Yeah. It takes
Well,
major dedication.
Here,
Right.
there you go, Craig. I got what I could get on there. This is Marcus Tomlinson
That Marlon
put this
Seidler
out
one.
there. I didn't add Marcus in there because it was going to be too small. But Marcus Tomlinson, here's your list. It just gives you an idea.
Bouncing around.
2016 to 2025, and it really sheds light on. You get down by the time you get to 26th, you're at single digits.
yeah.
I mean,
Is that, would you ever thought something like that?
Covering a 10-year period. Yeah.
94? 94.
94.
you know what sucks about this though, and
And it doesn't
I'm
include
mad at-
include tour wins, and he has some of them too.
Hey, this is how I do it. 700 times 94. He's won $65,000.
over the course of 10 years.
So at the end
But
of
That's
that,
6,500. I've never won that much money in 1 year racing.
at the end of the
Think
race,
about
Great
it.
comparison, yeah.
it's got to feel foreign to them to not do the family portrait every night.
Yeah, but I think you have a conversation with Trav. He's such a humble guy. He doesn't even want this list to be
Yeah.
out there. He would rather his name not even be on that list.
Right.
Yeah.
He don't even want
It's
it
not
there.
his style.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
And
That stat's
Jason,
way bigger than I thought it.
and Jason Walla of
That's-
10 years ago, national champion Jason Walla, would be proud to have his name. The new Jason Walla today, he's the same as Trav.
Yeah.
Right.
He's laid back. He's humble. Just pump the brakes.
Okay, back to what I was talking about. Okay, Travis Hagen, 94 wins. Colin Hibden, he'll float running around,
Yep.
and he's amazing too. But look at the difference, 23
Yeah, but
wins.
This is North Dakota wins.
this is North Dakota.
Yeah.
This is racetracks in North Dakota.
It didn't include their wins
But
out of
when
state.
did Colin give?
Colin's only been up here for 5 years.
Yeah. Not very long.
So he's,
Sure. So he come
But
on the
yeah,
scene
but the-
fast.
I mean-
The one that really gets me on this list that I looked at was number 11, Rob Van Mill.
Yeah,
We only know him as a stock car guy.
right.
Does anybody realize Rob Bavamil has 16 wins in a mod?
Never thought of it. Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
like, how many
Yeah.
starts does he have? Is that
Yeah.
16 wins and 40 starts? I mean, that's the other thing.
It would seem like it because we don't know him in a mod.
See, here's the other thing I get a kick out of Travis Hagen. Do you really think he races hard? You know, I mean, he's not like beating down the door to go to Mandan every weekend or Estevan every weekend.
Dickinson. Yeah.
I mean, he's been a Minot, Estevan, Williston type of guy, but you got to remember COVID happened. He wasn't even. It's a Minot Williston deal. I mean, that just shows the pure domination.
He's got to have a winning percentage in the 40s.
Mark Pearson
30s,
asked
40s.
if 96. I think 94 includes this last weekend, from what I understood on the list.
It says through 2025, so I would think.
It includes.
But here's the other thing. Travis hasn't hit 100.
Hold it.
Or did they just not?
I'm getting them numbers because I believe he's already surpassed 100.
You'll,
And,
this is
and
20
how did we not have a party?
And I'm mad at myself. I was bringing that up earlier. I'm mad at myself for not tracking that better and pay attention to that
I'll help
number.
you out. IMCA sends you a plaque. Your boy right here got her.
You got
In
it.
2007.
You had 100 IMCA wins.
I have 115 IMCA sanctioned modified feature wins.
By 07. That's a 10-year run.
Well, I got my 100th in 07. It took me that much longer. The other ones took 7 years to get to there, but yes.
But in a 10-year run, you won 100.
Mm-hmm.
So that means 10 a year. I mean, that is.
So
That's
back to that
crazy
same
numbers.
podcast we were talking about. Mike Joy, Harvick was asking him how he got into racing. He said, I wasn't much of an athlete, so I got into cars and into racing. And why did he do that? He said, their cars weighed 3,000 pounds, and everyone had 500 horsepower. So the playing field is level, right? But obviously not. What's he got that the rest ain't got?
Talent.
Fierce determination. Fierce determination.
I don't. Here's the deal. I think with Travis, I don't think people can read a racetrack like he does on a local level. He can read a.
He's good at speed, and he gets really good with yellow. He just gets that
But
much more time to set it up.
It's not only reading the racetrack. He can read the car in front of him
Right.
on the racetrack while reading the racetrack to understand their weaknesses and how to pounce.
I mean,
And all without even thinking. He's not even thinking.
It's subconscious.
This is all subconscious reaction.
In motocross, you would watch a guy's elbow starting to drop. He was fatiguing. You pounced on him. That's
Yeah.
a great word, pouncing
Yeah.
on him. Because that's how I would say it is. Just fierce determination. Yeah. So the 100 mark, Marlon and I have both been there, done that type of deal, and there's 10 others that are close. Travis, Sean Strand has got to be extremely close. Was he on that list?
He
be.
was. Yeah.
So, and he's raced before that too. So there's other features he has in IMCA.
But just the understanding, when I put my list together, it's going to be IMCA only.
right,
You know,
right.
I have 30-some
Which-
Wissota street wins out there that I don't ever have any record of. And I don't even know the exact number.
See, and that's what. Like,
I got a Mountain of Dakota modified wins because
I
it's my
should say
favorite
Wissota.
class. But yeah,
Wissota / North Star
So-
Hobby.
See, in my deal, I get irritated because I can't even call IMCA and find out. Because, like, the sport mod wins I had in Williston.
They weren't even sanctioned at the
No.
time. See, and that sucks.
And I think out of the first 5 races in Williston for sport mods, I think I won 4 of them or something stupid, but none of them were registered through IMCA because they were non-sanctioned. They just let us come.
But
The North Star Hobby wins I had over there, I was racing IMCA Hobby, but
it was unsanctioned.
unsanctioned.
But it's like some of the stuff I've done in the fall time of year, and I've won down in Dickinson. I've
Right,
won down in
right.
Mandan. I've got over the course of the last 5 years, I've got 10 wins that are unsanctioned that
Right.
don't show up in a stat book anywhere.
I got Motor Magics.
Motor Magics,
Fall Roundup.
yep.
I won a feature last year at Fall Roundup. It won't show up. So,
That's why.
but the paycheck was great. So
Right.
And us
So it was worth it.
racetracks, and I'm blaming me just as much. Well, now we have my race pass, so
right.
we have fell into my race pass, but we did not do a very good job of keeping track of this stuff.
And that's where I said when I started racing, I'm like, I'm going to be in the Nodak yearbook because my dad is.
Right.
Like, he won a championship at 84 when I started racing. That was my goal. I want to be in there with him. Got it done, and it's just that. I mean, Nodak, to have that yearbook the way it is and how detailed it is, a lot of places don't have nothing. I mean, at least we
can go back and look at champions and
stuff like that,
Mindy was gathering my stuff up going into this Hall of Fame, and we relied on some of that stuff. Didn't know where the Motor Magics were at, Motor Manias, Harvest 100s. I got a little bit of each, so that's what it's been called over the years since I've been in it. So yeah,
but it's so hard to follow racing history because there's not a group that really kept it together. Like tracks could have their own own rules or whatever.
Yeah, so, even a racetrack, we I don't want to harp on them, but you got 20 years ago, you had the same mentality you do now. Get the races on,
right,
and put a show on. Get people to come to the stands. Get people to come race. The stats will add up later,
right,
and then
we won't forget.
And then 30 years later, you're going.
Oh no!
Joe Blow is there going, I won 13 features in 1990.
Right. I don't remember that.
I don't remember you.
And I can't look it up.
Right.
But I know you're not telling the truth. Yeah.
Or they're trying to put somebody in the Hall of Fame. Who is he? What did he even do? Yeah, I mean, you've been on there with me to those. I'm like, I can't even argue that guy because I don't even know.
Being involved in it as a new person, I mean, we really rely on that IMCA stat to get you cooking, but you could be a Hall of Fame material prior to that.
Right.
I mean, Akin Wausoda was a very big and live thing around here. We raced it for 12 years. I raced it for, 6. But, I mean, it was all we did.
Yep.
Dacotah Modifieds was a local class. Loved it. But it means,
now it means almost nothing because
right.
Who knows about it?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, it was, when I was doing it, it was everything. So.
And you were the king.
So
you were Richard Petty of the Dacotah Modified.
I think Brock might get his 4-hour show tonight.
Ooh, we're running out of daylight, and it's
Earlier, you were getting blind from the sun.
Yeah,
I was like, we need to get some shades here.
The Oreo popcorn was
right.
getting a little sunburnt. No chance now.
You got to do Texas Red.
Texas Red. I got the new. It's
gonna work.
Commercial.
The new commercial. We're gonna lead in with the new commercial because it's a shorty, and then we'll exit out with the commercial from last year.
Listed.
Texas Red bringing you the upcoming schedule. Thank you, Beebs, and the gang over there. Jeff Bieber checked in.
Jeff and Justin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
My world's starting to think about rototilling because May 1st is tomorrow, and the weather is really nice. Although the weatherman says there's a chance of frost through May 21st. So I got to be a little careful with that. Still got 3 weeks.
Monday night bit hard.
21 on Tuesday morning. Yeah. What happened? It got cold out. I'm glad all the solid water race cars were inside.
Yeah.
That could have popped a crack on the side. Safe at my house.
Upcoming schedule, Friday night kicks it off. Dacotah Speedway has a Friday-Saturday doubleheader called the Mandan Meltdown.
Mandan Meltdown, yeah. They wanted to have that in April last year. Moved to their first race.
Was there a discussion between you and Mandan over the Nodak one versus the Mandan one, or you scheduled first and they followed after, or they moved theirs? So the Mandan Meltdown 2 nights, Friday, Saturday. They have their 5 normal classes that they had last week.
2 separate nights.
2 separate nights, 2 complete shows. The IMCA Modifieds, IMCA Stock Cars, Dacotah Speedway Hobbies, INEX Legends, and Slingshots.
Yep.
Are you hitting that?
We got some interest in going down Friday. Estevan opens on Saturday, so that will be high on our list for Saturday.
New car.
I haven't gotten much done in the last week, so I was scared of this. Racing season was going to start, and it's hard to find the time for the cars you're racing, let alone more time for that. And the backhoes got to find some work, and the phone has rang a little bit, so I'm poking around, but. I haven't given up, but I didn't get much done this week, so that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Saturday night, Estevan Motor Speedway kicks off their season May 3rd.
2 hours early.
2 hours early,
Remember?
starting at 5 p.m.
Their time.
Mountain
Their
time, which would be
6 our time.
6 our time.
So remember that, so you don't miss your heat on purpose.
You planning on making the trip? No?
I don't know yet. You never know.
Going to be blistering hot. 80 on Saturday and
I mean,
85 on
The
Sunday.
best time to water Nodak is when you come home from Estevan.
Right.
Yeah,
I get
when
that.
you're really tired and
Right.
it needs 3 complete loads or rounds of loads. So
Yeah.
I want to.
you and Brock did that a few times.
Oh, more than a few times.
I want to, but then I know how I feel on Sunday.
Yeah.
But the way I looked at it is if I went down there, I could either go home, go to bed, and then set my alarm for 5 a.m. to get there before the sun comes up. Or I could just do it then and then sleep till about 9 and then head down there.
See, I go water at night, and then I still get up at 5 because I can't sleep because I'm so paranoid about what's going to happen down there. So then I just go, and then it just
Yeah,
15-hour day.
that getting home at 1,
Yeah.
2 in the morning and going down to the track for an hour, hour and a half, and then going home, going to bed.
Not attractive no matter how you say it.
Right.
It has to be done.
I don't think anybody knows that stuff happens.
Yeah.
There ain't no. Why would you? 'Cause
Oh, they're starting to find out because I get riders nowadays. Going to the track? Yeah, jump in. The door don't open. You got to crawl over the seat.
and then Nodak Speedway wrap up the weekend at the Nodak Speedway on Sunday, night number 3.
And the special guests.
The NOSA sprint cars.
Yes.
I just talked to Todd with NOSA today. He said 16 are committed, hoping for 18.
I wish we could have got that committed list because it would have been fun to do a little bit of Hotsauce Fantasy
Yeah.
draft on that.
Dobmeyer's coming. He's my pick.
So how does that work for the wingless
See?
guys?
That's inside
The
inside
non-wing
trading.
guys?
Can they throw one on and go
Yep.
run?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep,
Yes.
we talked about it today, actually. So that's the wingless open up in Devil's Lake on
Saturday.
Hold on. He just corrected me. Non-winged.
Non-wing.
Non-winged.
Oh, no. Well,
It's a
whatever.
big deal.
Well, it's Western Renegade non-wing sprint car series. We can call them wingless, non-wing.
Just say I speak pretty.
You do speak pretty.
Technicality.
Yeah, right. So
Cool. So do you know of any guys that are going to do that?
I
I
wonder.
don't.
I wonder if Dusty Lawson would.
I have no idea.
I've heard nothing, so I'm excited
Because,
to see
like,
the because they boogie.
Right.
Winged and 410. Greg Nicotango going to be there?
No.
No, ain't going to make it.
No, not ready.
Not ready.
Boo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a crowd favorite.
He is.
Has he raced in the last few years?
Not too much, I don't think. I'm just hearing through the grapevine. I think his kid's into baseball pretty
Yeah.
big or something, so I think that takes up a lot of the time. So
I asked that question when I have my race pass at the touch of my fingertips.
yeah, there you
I
go.
don't know how to look it up.
You
Yeah.
don't know how?
You haven't taught me.
But I was asking Todd today. I'm like, how many cars do you know of in like western North Dakota, like sprint cars? And he talked about Fedek, but they haven't really seen him at all over the last so many years.
Since
so.
COVID, really.
Right, so they're just like, he's like, he don't know if, will he pop in for this deal? I mean, they just,
Got to have one of the Kennedys.
well, like Western, no. I mean, is there any sprint cars in Montana? Or
I don't know.
Williston, I mean, that's what I told him. I said, I mean, we're, on this deal, we're relying on what you bring, I mean, just, I don't know if any.
Greg Nicotango, according to my race pass, has not raced. I can't set my phone there. It makes the camera go crazy. Did you see that?
Yeah.
You're the tech.
2022. 3 events in
Really?
2022.
Hasn't raced for 2 years then. Working
Right.
on a third.
We're
Yeah.
hoping this thing goes big because if it does work out good, we get a good show, good car count. They like it. We could maybe see a return later in the year. So we're hoping this thing goes well, I guess. So
What's that pay?
I have no idea. I'll tell you the total purse, 12 grand, but to win, I don't know.
I would think a couple grand anyway.
Yeah.
I
I just want to know the big number because that's what
I think it's a
the
couple
number.
thousand.
that's
The
the
number.
I think it's like 2,000 to win, 300 to start type scenario.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
That's payday.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Tell
boy.
him to call the other number and we'll have him on the hotline.
No, this ought to be good. Put me on mute. What do you want, fat ass?
See, he speaks pretty.
Yeah.
But speaking of
Pretty
Devil's
bad.
Lake with the non-wing, the Western Renegade non-wing sprint car series is at Devil's Lake. Their opening race of the season Saturday night, along with Devil's Lake running street stocks, Midwest mods, and pure stocks. So 4 classes over there.
Good show there.
I got hit in the head.
Yep.
I went with you, and
You gotta call
I enjoy
me,
it. So
on the TV line. You're gonna talk shit.
who was it? Big Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were on the Dirt Weekly. Hey, little Sally. Okay,
What did he say?
you better just tell people to tune in.
What is he calling?
Hook it up.
Is he dialing?
Yeah,
Well, he doesn't know this number. Do you know this number?
type it in.
Man, oh man. Would
Just
it
put
be
it,
easier
just
if we
put it
just
on
called
Facebook,
him?
maybe.
Okay. See what I deal with?
You
What-
get no,
what-
you get
what
no
is this gonna
time.
be?
No smalls time.
What kind of phone call is this going to be?
Well, I'm probably one that brings people in, but my mic don't work. Hit the button.
There you go.
Yeah.
One.
No.
Oh, what am I doing here?
We're gonna end up with 3 phone lines here pretty soon.
Should we just take callers? Should we?
No.
Oh my.
I don't know how to work an Android phone, Craig.
Oh,
How's the popcorn over there?
not too bad. You should have some.
We got the Magic City mix here for you, Smalls. Got to keep these guys alive. Keep them fed.
Right. Oh, this ought to be good.
He probably won't answer.
Right.
It's a number he doesn't recognize.
It is a number I don't recognize.
There he is.
Well, hey, Jason Walla, welcome to the Dirt Weekly. How you doing?
Fabulous. How are you?
Excellent. You called Smalls, so then we have to call you.
That's all right. I won't call you the things I called him.
Well, I'm feeling better already.
Just remember, we got the same amount of wins at Nodak this year.
Yeah, but-
Ooh.
Oh, that's not wrong. But usually I get your career feature wins in one season.
Big show. We missed you on Sunday.
Yeah.
Actually, one weekend. Let's get that right.
Easy.
Oh. Be careful, Smalls. this could take on water.
I know how to swim.
Jason, we had a long discussion earlier about the battle that you and Trav had on Saturday night and how much fun it was to watch.
Well, I'm not sure it was a battle. He got to me and just drove by me, but it was all right, you know.
Well, but he tested you early on in that feature, with some sliders, and you crossed him over. He kind of did some test runs at you before he got to you later on.
Yeah, he has that effect on people,
Yeah, we're
That little
dissecting that.
bastard he starts a lot of helmet fires.
New terminology. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, he's good. If you can, I just think that, when we raced a lot nationally, people discount what we have for local talent quite often, and especially guys on their home tracks. Like,
Yep.
I pick Travis and Minot over just about anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
yeah. And talking about Travis just for a second there, I mean, he was able to go down to even Mandan and do good down there. And I know you had won a track championship down there when you were pursuing your national championship. So that's a whole different racetrack than we're used to around here. So it takes pretty broad range of talent to be that good everywhere. So good on both of you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trav really, when we were running hard, that was kind of his weakness, right? Like he wouldn't travel. He had his few tracks that he was good at, and I never take that away from him. But as he's progressed over the years, he doesn't have a weakness, and
fair
he
to
can
say.
travel.
Yeah.
And he's progressed so far as a racer, and that's awesome. I'm just lucky to call him my brother-in-law.
Yeah, exactly.
Big Show, we know that you're a big MAGA supporter, and we've been talking about this tonight. Who's a better president, Trump or Smalls?
Yeah.
I feel like they're cut from the same cloth.
I thought the same. I thought the same.
Like you can agree with both of them and want to choke the life out of them at the same time.
It's all in the presentation.
Yeah.
The dialogue's great. The presentation's rough.
Yeah, you're like, God, you did it a little different. Yeah. But let's roll a hand grenade in first and then come in guns blazing.
That makes total sense.
It does. I mean, he's very similar.
So now back to the Rage chassis. Reasons as to the switch. I mean, it's just amazing how big of a conversation the chassis is in today's racing.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously that's where I started my. It wasn't where I started my career, but it was when I started to become relevant. Was in a Rage chassis.
I remember day one. I remember day one.
Oh, I've heard this story.
Do you know where he got his first big win? In a
Dickinson.
You're
Oskaloosa.
Yep.
Oh,
my rookie year in a modified. I finished 7th, and I'm thinking, man, that ain't too bad. I get back to the trailer. I look at Darren. I said, I think we got the highest finish out of North Dakota people. He says, Walla won. And I said, no effing way. Yeah, he did. He smoked everyone. I said, you're joking. I get out of the car. There's Fathead up in Victory Lane.
Oh, no.
Big old
Name
mouth.
calling.
Oh, wow. This is how it is.
Oh, no.
That was the definition of running scared, that race. I mean, like, just.
Have you ever been to Oskaloosa? Do you know what that is?
Not at all.
Big half-mile, roof shaking. You mess up, you have nothing left.
I haven't raced there, but the speeds are high.
It's wild.
That's what I think Tony Stewart broke his leg in a sprint car there.
Yep, it is.
Yep.
And then we had
Oh, go ahead.
Then we had a party in the hotel parking lot with the Big Show.
That's when the nickname came after that race, isn't it?
No, the nickname is a fat joke from my youngest brother that came so many years ago.
Oh, no.
He come to me and said, it's either Stonefoot or Big Show. And I'm like, if you call me Stonefoot for the rest of my life, I'll smack you every time I hear it.
I like Big Show better.
Yeah.
You did too,
Well,
huh?
Way better. Way better. Yeah.
So Big Bang Theory, Cheers, Seinfeld has got nothing on the Dirt Knights.
There you go.
That's a big deal to be part of a series like that.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. All we need is Medler bellied up to a bar with a cold one.
Yeah. I'll tell stories.
Yeah. No, that was we started in that Rage car and found success very early, and then there's just a lot of things that led to trying to make a change. And I went to somebody else who I've raced with a lot of years, and that's Andy at Precision Performance, and they're always good to me. They're good people. It's just, the first night we were in that performer car, we won in Mandan, and then we won the second night in it. And even then I got out of that, and for me, the car was fine. I just didn't feel comfortable in it, and was always searching for a feeling. And the more I searched for that feeling, I felt like it cost us speed. Then I stopped racing so much, so it was really hard to give good quality feedback. Now, going back to a Rage car, the race with the nose down, it's just the way I like a car to feel. The way, I don't know, for whatever reason, I got lucky when I picked them and struck gold, and I, you know, learned my lesson and had to go back.
Yeah. Well, the 2 nights that you raced over the weekend, I thought it looked like you didn't take any time off at all. I mean, I thought you were right back in your game, right back where you were comfortable, and you're saying that now. So that's what it looked like to me. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's crazy, and anybody who races knows this. For me, one of the most important feelings is right front down. Is your right front? Can you feel your right front in the track? And truthfully, like the Rage cars, there's no other modified that feels the way they do, and they're just good like that. And once you're trained to drive a car like that, it's like riding a bike, right, Jordan? Like,
yeah. Well, like you're saying, I mean, when you're confident in that front end, it's not going to chatter up the hill. I mean, you can start getting into the gas and overcoming, your own instinct of fear of shooting her off the end. I mean, you trick yourself, and then you can play there. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're worried about those things, again, we talk about helmet fires. They happen way more often, overthinking things. And
I like the term. I'm going to steal it. I'll give you credit. Helmet fires. Yeah. White lap jitters.
I think that might be a Justin O'Brien thing. Well, maybe not, I don't know. But yeah. Anyway.
And then there's a lot of drivers out there that will tell you it's one of the biggest challenges when they go from a different chassis brand, when they go from whether they were in a Razor, or they were in a Harris, or they were in something else, and they make that move to a Rage, and how they have to change some of their habits, their driving habits. Smalls is having that problem right now. He's never drove a Rage or doesn't have enough nights in a Rage to understand what it does.
Does he race?
We're not sure.
No.
We heard of her.
No, I'm kidding.
I reference Marcus. I mean,
yep.
When he got his, he had to make some adjustments, but he said, "Wow!" And just like you're saying, Jason, that he said the same thing. Once you make the adjustment and get the confidence in the front end like that,
but it can't be
good,
an advantage, because Brandon, you gave a stat on how many people were driving a Rage this weekend.
Yeah, but you can dial one out as fast as you can dial it in, too.
Yeah, but it comes down to the nut behind the wheel. It comes down to the person holding the steering wheel, and what the driver likes. What Jason likes to feel in a car is different than what Travis Hagen likes to feel in a car, is different than Marcus, is different than Isaac, different than Smalls. And what Jason feels suits him, and he can be faster in an identical car to what Smalls has, because it suits him and his driving.
Absolutely. Okay, everybody on here remembers Hunter Marriott, obviously.
Yeah.
When Hunter was in his absolute heyday, I went down to his place in Missouri. We were down in Iowa racing, and I was struggling. And we had a week off, and he invited me down to his place. And I mean to tell you, flipped open the notebook. He crawled around on that thing with me and I can't remember who was down there at the time. I don't think it was Jake by then. But regardless, we worked on that thing for no less than 12 hours. And number one, I've never seen somebody so meticulous on a race car as him. It was unbelievable. The pursuit of perfection, or, to get the numbers that he wanted. But along with that, I crawled into it after we put an entire shift in. I mean, we were up until 3, 4 in the morning trying to get it right. And then we go race the next night, and I couldn't get whatever he did out of that thing fast enough, because it was terrible. And I mean to tell you, if you would have taken a tape measure to either one of our cars, it could not have been any closer. But I could not stand it. It was awful.
I can relate. Well, yeah. Somebody else's great setup isn't necessarily yours. So,
Never is.
Yeah.
It never is. And like you asked the difference between, everybody running a Rage car. You guys were all right. Some people tune themselves out flat out. I mean, every racer that's ever raced has been guilty of that. Some people are just where I think like a Travis has found such good success is he's found something that works for him. He's got a bag of tricks of 2 or 3 things, and he never deviates from them. And he's smart enough to not make big adjustments. He just sticks with them and goes with them because they work.
Yeah.
And once you have that bag of tricks, 2 or 3 things, and you're not reinventing the car every night, it gives you a tremendous amount of confidence. You know what you're going to have, and you can, it just makes you more patient and makes you make better decisions, I think.
And he's the last one to staging almost every night because he is watching that racetrack or watching the race in front of him till the last possible moment to make whatever change he wants to make, or if there is a change he's going to make.
There's no doubt about that. That is 100% a true statement. But also, have you ever met his youngest child?
Yeah.
Like, he has him and Kenzie have their hands so full with that kid. Like, he doesn't have time. Ridge is just a handful, you know? So, yeah.
I see what you're describing there. Like, say he's got a 2-3 tricks that he does. What's impressive is they stay relevant. I mean, you know,
absolutely.
I mean, the world's had 5 years to try to figure them out, and he either stays ahead of it or his tricks are still that relevant. I almost think his adjustments are that relevant. I probably go back to it's him himself. He's just fiercely determined. So
for sure.
That seems to go a long way. So
what's on the agenda for this weekend, Fathead?
Oof.
Well, listen, before anybody takes offense or gives him too hard a time for calling me that, this is literally how our conversation goes.
You know what I wake up to on Saturday morning? A text from him. Well.
Yeah.
That's all he talks shit.
You miss me? Well.
It is 5 minutes of insults before we talk about anything. So this is standard setup.
This
here
is
for
normal.
us.
Yeah. I see. Baseline. Right.
Yeah. Baseline setup right here.
This is baseline. We're going right to that.
So am I going to see you driving down Highway 83 then again or what?
What's your racing plans this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to for sure go to Mandan for Friday and Saturday. And I got to see my kids have a track meet if they decide to do that Sunday. That might put a damper on Sunday's plans, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
You're ruining my fantasy.
You know, Smalls is talking pretty aggressive to you.
Help.
But you are a proud member of his fantasy team.
I know.
The biggest chick I got on my team here. And he's about ready to get
the boot.
Well,
we don't allow that in the rules.
You can't, so it's a 2-month marriage.
Oh, this isn't like fantasy football. You can't just like trade off for somebody else.
Well, we got to get the commissioner involved. The commissioner is Isaac Sondrel. So
he's probably busy working right now. So
yeah, well, he's probably in the field. It's beautiful weather for that right now.
Yeah.
You know,
we're spending it in the basement.
Yeah,
the worldwide headquarters.
We're over here talking smart, and then you called, and it's just.
I railroaded it, didn't I?
Kind of.
So you bailed out on Smalls on Sunday night. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, there again, I had my kids had school on Monday, and I have to have them home by a certain time. There's just no way for me to back to their moms, I should say. So there was really just no time for me to.
Well,
make
we
it
missed
back
you.
there in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it sucks because I did want to be there, but priorities, right? Like Jordan and I have had this conversation. When you get to a certain age, things change, and wins don't come as easy, and because life just changes.
Yeah, life does change, and in a good way. So we'll take you. We'll take you when we can get you, and we look forward to getting you. Well, hopefully a few more times. So.
Yeah. No. Well, we'll see. It's not set in stone that they're going to do that deal yet. I don't know if they're all that into track, so to speak. I was never one for track. I know that's really hard to imagine, but
I resemble that.
But things can deceive you because Jordan has some really good athletes in his family.
They take after their mother. That's for sure.
Jordan didn't do track, but they do.
Yeah. I bet I could outrun you down the front straightaway.
Jason, any aspirations going to the tour?
Medler, you think you could outrun me?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Let's set this up.
Let's set this up.
Here we are. I went from the catwalk down to the Bobcat and only cramped up 3 times. I got you.
I don't know. Jason's looking pretty in shape. So
Is this an intermission thing at some point this summer at Nodak or what?
Could be.
We got to sell tickets. This is a thing.
Jason's giving a green light. Make this happen.
In fairness, I think we got to plan it a little bit out so we can each, hone in on our abilities. And,
Yeah.
you come up with it, Medler. You can't back out now.
Oh, I ain't gonna back.
You're giving
out.
him the rule book even.
Right.
It's all yours. It's all yours, Smallsy.
Yeah, okay. I'll get it measured.
This
out.
ain't going away, so prepare.
I'm gonna do some planning on
We
this.
gonna have a fantasy over this?
Yeah.
We're gonna take bets.
Stakes are going to be high.
So
Yeah.
I'll bring the grocery carts. Jordan can sit in one of the carts, Brandon in the other, and you pick who you're pushing.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy. I think we did that about 30 years ago. I'm scared of going down. It might hurt this time.
That might be really painful. Yeah. See,
Uh-oh.
Oops. Did we lose?
people are watching right now.
Oh, there you are.
How many people are watching?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's went back up since you called there, since I called you. We were down in the 40s. Now we're back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Oh my,
Yeah.
popular show.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell you, but you don't ever listen to me.
Well, I don't have Facebook or anything anymore, so I'm not up on when this stuff is coming up. Usually you flip through the Facebook when you have it, and
There it
it's
is.
just there.
Well, the best part is if you have Spotify, if you listen to music, we're on Spotify as well. I mean, we're on YouTube, so just
Okay.
we do our shows on Wednesday nights. Usually Thursday by Thursday morning, everything's up there.
Perfect. Now we
This
just
what you
need a
needed,
Medler
more.
mute button.
I do have a Medler mute button.
Do you
won't
really?
Yeah, you won't
We
hear
just-
him anymore
we
now.
just turned him off.
I just turned him
God.
off.
God bless you.
He's
Brandon.
talking, but oh, now he's back.
See, it sounds so much better like this.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for answering the
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
it was great talking to you guys. Look forward to hopefully see you this weekend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Might see you Friday.
Yeah, I need my points, so you better be there.
Well,
I need more than points, Medler.
you're not even on my team, but I've said this for a long time. Any track with Jason Walla at is a better racetrack.
Yeah.
Man.
Just remember, you got
Good
to show
racer.
up May 11th.
I appreciate it, and I'll try to be there May 11th.
That's Smallsy's birthday.
Yeah, so I got to beat you on my birthday.
Jesus. This might be
Wait
this
a
foot
minute
race.
now. Wasn't it? Wasn't it my birthday that he beat me on my birthday one time?
Yep, I did.
And you-
The only time I ever won a mod feature at Nodak. I beat him
You
on his
would've-
birthday.
Oh,
you would
my.
have swore he won Daytona. That's all I heard about.
He wouldn't even look at me leaving the track.
Oh, my.
It was great.
It was awesome, huh?
I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah. You were mad. Sucker
He's
in the
invalid.
dirt. Sucker in
He's
the
so-
dirt.
Oh.
He's so full of crap. He might be right though. At that point in time, I was a pretty sore loser. So I don't really.
2016.
I remember you. You highballed it around Marley.
Yeah. Jason, he was halfway back to Tioga because he was so mad.
Oh, God.
I was we're talking about a time in my life I wasn't really proud with the way I handled losing. So,
If you go back and listen to the first part of the show, we may talk about that.
really,
How much? No, we didn't talk about in a bad light. We just said how much you've matured and are a different person today because
Kinda
everything
touching on our age deal.
the age deal or life.
Yeah.
We called it life happens.
Yeah, you still got a long ways to catch up to me, but you're getting there.
oh, apparently you're allowed to be. Guys can drink in there.
No,
Well, no.
No.
Yeah. It just sounds like it.
We're eating popcorn.
Yeah, we're getting crazy on Oreo popcorn and,
Oh my
and
God!
caramel cheddar cheese popcorn.
What a time to be alive.
You're a part of it
True
now.
story.
that window you have to climb through to get in the race car. It
Yeah.
gets smaller and smaller every week.
Yeah, well, the winners for sure, and then it's on you to see if you can navigate it for the first month. Ooh.
It's not. A year ago or a couple years ago, it was really a touch and go situation. For me.
Yeah.
That was a little spooky.
I remember you in Victory Lane winning when I was down there to interview you, and it was a wiggle to get up out of there.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about embarrassing. But yeah, no. Hopefully I get to see you guys this weekend. Are you guys, anybody going to Mandan from there, or
I might be for Friday. I got to go up to Estevan Saturday. So
There's talks of maybe a 48 going down there again, because he had a good run last Friday, but
stock
he
car
wants to
stuff.
be in Estevan on Saturday. So
boy, he's been running really good, hasn't he?
yeah, he went.
it's one of them. It's exactly what we talked about. They put a setup in that car that Adam Goff runs, and that setup fits Brock but does not fit Adam. It's just one of them things. Driver preference, what you feel.
Kind of like your talk with the Performer car there.
Yep.
Similar deal.
Yeah, when I watched Brock in I can't remember if it was a heat or the feature in Minot on Sunday. But man, that thing, when he would point it straight, I mean, it'd carry the left front. He would just pick that thing up, and it would have just I call it just squirt, coming out of the hole. Like it was good. I mean,
Makes you want to get a stock car, don't it?
yeah, I got enough time into mods, and now I got a crew chief that's never actually won features in a modified, but he's winning them now, so he's really excited
He's
about
got
it. So.
one.
What? Oh, go ahead. Who is it, Medler?
I don't know. Never met him before.
Anyway, you guys have a good evening, and thank you for your call.
Yeah, thank you for answering.
Good luck.
Hopefully you don't-
Good luck, Jason.
Hopefully you don't
Appreciate it.
choke on some jerky tonight.
Have a good evening. Wow.
That's
Okay.
pretty,
You
that's
blame this on me.
pretty much a standard phone call.
Wow. Well, it's fun having the phone now, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 callers. It's pretty good.
Dangerous.
We're on to fantasy. That's all we got left.
Fantasy.
Losing.
I have the same thing I had up there last week. We'll throw
With
it up
points,
now
though.
with points.
With points.
I still have the pick order, so that way you can go back and criticize yourself, like a Brock Beater being picked 30th overall, getting Craig a feature win.
Well, that's because he told all of us but Craig that he wasn't going to be there full time. Brocker.
Yeah.
But Jorn with a Knobber at 29 overall, getting up a feature win or getting a feature win.
Yeah.
Those are value picks.
Yeah, the
70
president have no faith in his vice president. But if I remember it right.
He was playing possum. Rob is like, I don't know,
I got the same phone call again today. I just don't know if I'm feeling it.
From
Knob.
Oh, no.
You better work on your chicks.
Oh,
or
boy.
no, whose team is he on?
Yeah, mine.
Right.
Yeah. He's the one that's always out of the box.
Right. He just wins a feature. Don't know if he's feeling it this weekend.
And he had a top 5 all weekend. So
Right.
So, come on, Knobber. Actually did it from the back twice because he drove it off the top.
Right.
What you're looking at on your screen, a perfect score for the weekend would be 80.
Beside your driver's name.
Beside your driver's name.
Because it's 40 and 40.
So it's 40 and 40. A perfect score would be 80.
And Brandon's got that.
I have 180, Travis Hagen.
Yeah.
And then I have a 79. Chris Yost was one away from a perfect.
Yeah.
Which, that was your number 1 pick.
No, my number 1 pick was Gabe in a sport mod.
Where did you pick Chris? Oh, 8th.
The 8th overall, my number 2 pick was Chris Yost.
Yeah. Speaking of that sport mod deal, we all thought Gabe was going to be the
Whoa, is there competition there?
runaway train there.
Yeah. Yeah. He was messing around with some carburetor adjustments and stuff like that. I was kind of involved from afar, if you will. But Robbie winning that first night, he had to defend that pole, and he did it. He did a good job at it. Many cautions. They threw some stuff at him, but he persevered. So
Tukes showed up to the board meeting last night, and let's just say there was some table smashing because he didn't like the possum call, and I don't like the results I'm getting on the fantasy here. So we're probably headed to Kroll's Friday morning here to discuss what we're going to change.
Yeah, you put all your eggs in him there, it looks like.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, you doubled up with them, and
that Arizona deal.
leave the lane on top open.
Right.
That's all I got.
I had I was excited after Arizona, but
Craig leads after these point totals are going to get pretty high by the end of the year here.
They sure are.
If we're getting 569 in 1 week.
I don't really like hearing about Brock going down to Mandan up to Estevan and burning that car up by Sunday.
You got to call.
Welcome to the game. Welcome to the game.
Because was a stock car motor last 10 nights?
She's pulling.
They have their moments.
But
Will Shresky, he's pretty loyal to Minot. He
Yeah,
doesn't do a lot of
very.
running.
Yeah.
You'll see him in Underwood.
Will does Underwood and Minot. He's loyal to that. And
Chad doesn't do a bunch of running around.
Nope.
big shout out to Mad Mike Hagan keeping me in the game.
Yeah, Mike had a great weekend. A couple of top threes.
So, Smallsy, you're already 116 points down.
Yeah, I ain't nervous.
Yeah, I'm 100 down. Yeah. But it's only one weekend, as we say.
Right.
Now, touching on my world, Brooklyn wasn't able to get that motor put together, but that was supposed to go in on Monday.
You got 30 points.
So
15 for no
pair
shows.
of 15s. So my Brooklyn deal is going to get going. Isaac had just a tough weekend. That can only improve, and I believe it will, and I believe he'll be here all year. So
Adam had a tough weekend. It'll improve.
Yeah. Adam's got some new car blues, but when he figures it out, then I have it figured out. So that'll get going. Cole had some brake issues. Yeah,
Here's
that's
my
Cole.
one driver's foot.
I hold my breath with him. Jason
that?
Ruby wasn't able to race over the weekend, but they're coming soon, I believe, and/or I'm promoting. So my world's coming together. I had some absences that are coming back. It can be hard to chomp away at Craig's 100 points, but you got to start somewhere, and I will. So, vroom vroom.
So we're talking to our teams. I like this.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
What, you going to do your rundown, or you want me to? I just showed you a
I'm
picture
going-
of one of my
That was a foot.
of one of my drivers.
That was not the prettiest foot.
No,
Oh, one last footnote from me. Gabe gave announcement on his feature win on some of his highlights, and being on the fantasy team was in there. So let's go, Gabe.
That foot was my hobby stock driver, Caden Appelt. That happened from that wreck.
Yikes.
Ouch.
Oh,
Yeah.
it looked like the brake foot.
And he
Or
said
was it the
car-
gas foot? It was the brake
No,
foot, wasn't
brake.
it? Yeah.
And he said the car isn't much better.
Really?
That's not what you want to hear.
No.
Ouch.
Yeah. So right on top, my team is hurting.
Yeah. Well, Smallsy and I aren't the problem. Craig and Brandon are. We 3 and 4.
So you got to give
They
the
1
rundown of
and
your
2.
team.
I got Trevor things out of Trevor.
Let's stop there.
Yeah.
TRD.
Right. I said, Trevor, were you getting mad? I wouldn't pick. That's all I heard, just mad. He was mad. Now it's starting to look like Smalls is still smarter than Trevor.
What a feeling.
I believe Max is on a.
Yeah.
Max is
Yeah.
the consistency is building.
Yeah.
How about that?
Max
Best
is
move
solid.
you guys could have did. Get him out of the sport mod.
Put him back into a hobby.
He was flirting with the lead on Sunday night.
He made the pass around Trevor and Max. Yeah,
So is that what did Walla call that? A helmet fire?
helmet.
I like
Trevor,
that.
Trevor at helmet fire.
Yeah, after
Yeah,
Max
Possibly, yeah.
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 Gabe. I talked about it on the call. Gabe went off the top of the track early on in that feature. Had to restart. I'm talking
Sport mod.
Sport Mod
mods.
Sunday night, and Robbie did as well. Went off the top
Sunday night.
on Sunday night, and I quickly just touched on. They'll look back on June 22nd. They'll look back to last on Sunday night, going, "Do I have a chance for this or not?" Because that was make or break time.
Oh yeah, big time.
With 25 cars out there, and Jorn, I know I'm going to get more out of him. He ain't going to bust up a left front every week. Was it a left front
Yep.
or right front?
Are we talking about bent fast?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it could be anything, but it was the left front this week.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But,
come on, Cole. Let's keep it together.
Kyle Shope, I mean, consistency out of him. Travis, I know I'm going to miss at least a week or two with Travis Hagan. Travis Tooley was able to make it one night. It's worth it.
As he said.
Yep. Chris Yost, I believe I got one of the better compact guys away from you guys. So
Yeah. Yeah. When you picked him,
Trevor doing Trevor things, Chris Yost doing Chris Yost things.
One extreme to the other.
And then Travis Hagan just being Travis Hagan.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Weren't sure how much attendance there, so. But in your own words, when you picked him, you can't leave him out. So.
I can't. I mean, I got him way down the list here. It's 25. So if I wouldn't have got him, somebody was going to pick him in the middle there.
I shot past my modifieds. I'm sorry. Shout out to Marcus. Apologize, Marcus.
Yeah.
What I was doing there, going bottom to the top, and
You're up.
I hopped it. So.
Okay, Caden Appelt started off strong. Raynard, I think he was good the first night too, and not so good the second night.
I think there might have been a helmet fire there too, maybe.
Yeah,
That's going to be our new term of the show.
I like
Right.
it. We told him to give him credit for it. At least I will.
Yeah, it was the second night he must have had a helmet fire. Where is he? Oh, 7th. So, sport mods, I went with the young guns. Slato, I think he got 10th the second night. So
he got better as the weekend went on.
Right.
A lot of it is just keeping his nose clean in that sport mod deal. That second night, that sport mod's got pretty crazy.
Oh, he got 12th, the plus 10.
I thought he looked good,
So-
keeping the car underneath him. Great job.
Glauser,
Good
he'll get going. I mean,
Yeah.
just had some bad luck there. Stock Cars Mad Mike was on point.
Yep.
Tukshire, I
They're
think
top threes.
he's on the bad luck train here. Got him in the mod and the stock car. I mean, the way he performed in Arizona, I thought be a for sure deal, but 4 DNFs out of the weekend here, so I think he'll get it turned around. He'll work at it. Walla,
Your boyfriend.
yeah.
So, well, he
Yeah.
delivered one night, and
He delivered
all,
one night.
His 1 point total is still more than Chris Tuchscher's too.
Right. Right.
right in the kneecaps.
So hopefully Walla gets back this weekend. Hugh Banks, I thought I was going to get 80 out of that, but night one was on the ramp truck with a
Yeah.
broke upper, but bounced back the next night. Didn't he win the second night?
Yep,
Yeah,
one
he
night
did.
too.
So not
Yeah.
bad for what we're dealing with here.
I think we all visited Victory Circle, so
Yeah, we
that's
did.
pretty cool.
Yep. So I just got to get Tukshire up to Kroll's, and we got to hash this deal out on how to finish.
What do you got, Craig, on yours?
So the theme that I'm going with is dudes that keep their nose clean.
Yep.
Kyler Satrin,
Consistent, nose clean.
and the night Caden won,
Yep.
Kyler was coming.
Oh, yeah.
He laid her down there. He was going for it. Alex, he had speed, but not consistency. He had something weird going on there because it seemed to be fighting him. Chad Strachan, again, consistent. He's loyal to Minot. He's in the Taylor Stenvold camp. Solid 1-2 punch Sunday night. Can't ask for more than that.
Yeah.
Will
Can't.
Shresky, he was strong at a 75. And then Brock,
A sleeper.
I know.
Started the year off with a W.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
awesome.
In Mandan, I saw that car. I'm like, we're going to be all right. And
Yeah.
it was good.
It was good Mandan, too. You're right.
And the buddies here, Steven and Drew, Steven was solid. I think he got a 3rd and a 4th. And Drew.
Uncharacteristically was like off a little bit.
The Fife.
Drew.
Oh, Drew.
Caused 2 cautions,
Well,
right?
he mentioned that the back end, his tail, he slapped the wall because you changed the track on him.
Oh. Blame the track.
To the better, according to Smallsy.
Right.
Turn 4. Turn 4.
You know, one thing, since we changed the wall, I've not hit the wall with the blade, so.
It's good for the blade.
Right.
And then Lily had a very consistent weekend, too.
She
so
did. Good numbers out of Lils.
I just like Steven's number, what he ended up with.
75.
Great.
You're always looking for something. Yeah. Steven had a couple of heat races. Just shot him to the back of both nights.
Well, he cannot draw at all.
Well, it draws only the first night.
Yeah.
Back of the pack every night. Well, you took him out the first night.
No matter what Steven says.
We're going to all have to meet at the marketplace to talk about this.
Clarifications on recall.
That's the hardest I ever hit the brake pedal for the 11. It was enough to brake. It was enough for the brake lights to turn on.
Oh, what am I looking at?
Is that Billy?
Yep.
What, Billy Gall, what happened to left front of Jordan's car? What really broke?
Well, it got in the way of somebody going to the wall.
Yeah.
Kids, 4 o'clock or 4 hours.
We're 3 hours into this operation.
There you go.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I got to work tomorrow. It's time to end it.
Weather's on TV.
Well, we recapped the fantasy.
Yep.
I still have faith. My fantasy cars are coming. So
I ain't
a
giving
couple of
up.
them took vacations, but they're getting ready to go to work.
Like I told Walla after I texted him on Saturday, I said, "Is it your season is not a sprint; it's a marathon. We'll check back in 3 weeks after his win, see if you can keep it rolling."
Yeah, his intentions are good.
My team's gonna come in at the end.
I'm riding the same bus because I'm in the same spot. We in the 400s, they in the 500s.
I have no idea what my team's going to do.
What is that? Ritalin to keep them focused? Your team might need that now since they started off okay.
I thought Max was a hand grenade. I didn't know what to do with that. And you and Jenny are in charge, so I ain't touching Max. And now Max is performing, so
Brandon
you can't throw no hand grenades in there. He's on your team.
Trevor too, so that was like,
right.
Hey, watching Max work that simulator, the pedals. I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Hey, he just needed some comfort. He went from that sport mod, that night one in the hobby stock. He was a little bit. A practice day would have been good. Him actually working on the car and getting ready for practice would have been even better. And I kind of. As we spoke, I dug my heels in, and I was being stubborn, saying, I ain't doing this shit alone. For you're going to help. So, yeah, there was some – I just think he's a better kid when he's at the racetrack around people like Adam, Jordan, everybody that he's around.
I've always enjoyed him. So.
He seems like such a different kid when he's out doing that compared to what he did all winter long.
One thing Max has today
right
than he's had previous, maybe when he was in the hobby stock – he's a big cat, man. He can wrench that wheel. He's strong. He's bigger than you.
He is bigger than me.
Even last year, we made note of it many times. He likes being on pit crews.
Right.
So,
yep.
Nothing wrong with that either.
Yep.
He can do both.
We're planning on Estevan Minot this week. I rolled a new tire in here. You guys seen it rolling in, and
I hoped you.
Going to get it mounted up. And
we already got the name for the Walla and Smalls race.
We already got a name.
Oh. What's it called?
Fat Guy 200.
Jeez. It's growing legs. Oh, Craig, you're going to be in
Fluffy's
here with marketplaces.
It's
going to get wild.
Fluffy's the flag man.
It makes total sense.
It might be the Fat Guy 300.
So at the finish line, I'll have a couple Kit Kats for you guys.
Something.
The big ones.
We're gonna need we're gonna need the electric shopping carts to get us back to the pits.
The return road.
Actually, that's what you should get us. A couple of them shopping carts with the truck on the front. We'll make somebody ride in there.
The baskets.
Oh, this can go everywhere. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's end it.
Right.
Let's end it. We've went a lot of places. We've done I've kind of tried to keep that 2-hour show going, but Brock wants 4 and we're at 3, so I think we're right in the middle.
4.
Have you talked to the commish? Is he happy with things?
I think so. I asked him if we wanted to call him, and he said nope, not this week. So.
Need a little bit more thinking time.
Yeah. I think the commish is happy. I mean, I sent that text out to the group. I updated this Monday morning and sent it to you guys, and there was a lot of love in that group, wasn't there?
I thought so. Mm-hmm.
I think I think the people at home. Hopefully, we gained some viewers just by mentioning it briefly at Sunday night at the races.
It's popular right now. I like it. Yeah.
I said, just like my racing career, I'm in last.
I'll just shameless plug it. I'll just pick one night, one point. Hopefully, drivers continuously say fantasy in the victory lane. Give us a shout out so then I can say, watch if you want to know what they're talking about. Watch the Dirt Weekly Wednesday nights at 7.
Yeah.
Little shameless plug.
Nothing wrong with that. Okay.
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 Next
Wednesday, 7 p.m. or so
Ish.
Yeah.
Gotta start taking Thursdays off.
Yeah. It's getting close.
I was thinking about it. Well, for Jordan
Okay.
boys, Smalls Medler.
Craig.
Yeah, 3 people.
Yeah. Smalls Medler, Craig Heupel, I'm Brandon Beater. Why I couldn't figure out why my music wasn't playing.
Okay.
I turned it down. We'll be back next week. Thank you for tuning in or spending your Wednesday evening with us.
See you there, Dan.
Thank you for the guys that answered the phone on the hotline.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.